Sweet.
It
Hello.
looks like we're good to go.
Yeah. Hey.
So
Welcome.
timing is going to start when I hit yes here. So let's get timer ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is The Last Guardian. This is not a game I have ever seen before, so I'm excited to be on the couch commentating and asking questions as we go.
I love this game. I am so excited to see it here. Sable, what's your story with The Last Guardian? How did you just...
Well, when I choose things that I want to speedrun, right, it's because I don't want to stop playing a game. And my husband got this for Christmas because, you know, he has Shadow of the Colossus and Eco and the other games. And he was like, this seems like one that you would sort of like. And I played it, and I never wanted it to be over. And as soon as it was over, I was like, I'm gonna play this again, like right now. So it was just an immediate, like, I don't ever want to stop playing this game type of thing. And that was that. It was history after that.
Awesome. This game was in development for a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, for a long time, people weren't sure if it was actually going to come out.
Because it started as a PS3 release, right? And then it became a PS4 one after the decade it spent in development.
You could certainly tell if you play through it yourself that the controls are meant for a different system than it came out on.
Oops. It happens though. Sometimes like games get delayed. Complications happen. Chaos is all around us. So what are we doing right now?
Well, all we know, and I mean, we skipped an intro cutscene, but it wouldn't really have told us anything except for that this creature is called a Trico, and that he seems to be kind of the top of the mythological food chain. We woke up next to him. He's over there chained to the ground. It's kind of hard to see, but he's got some armor on that's chaining him to the ground, and we just woke up and we're like, boy, I don't know how I got here. And there's a giant, supposedly man-eating beast. I guess I'll feed it. That makes sense.
Maybe it won't eat me if I feed it. Perfect.
So it had some spears in it. We took the one out of his leg already. And for the sake of, speed running this game, we're actually not going to take this one out of his shoulder right away. Instead, I'm going to pop his little collar off here. It's chaining him to the ground, so once it's off, he'll be able to get up. And then we won't have to do that after this second cutscene. We'll just get it done now.
Sweet. Do you want to introduce yourself, by the way, while you take care of removing that collar and the sphere?
Yeah, we're going to actually have quite a long time here. So, I'm SableDragonRook. You can call me Sable. I am, I guess, probably most known for running this, The Last Guardian, and also Spyro. But I sort of run a variety of things. I just enjoy doing games fast.
And you've got a couple of cool lizards as well to keep you company at home.
Sure, I guess we should say that. My whole thing is all about my lizards. What about you?
I am Tielqt. I use she or they pronouns. And I just watch these things. I watch these speedruns. I run Alan Wake and F1 2019, so this is very much not in my wheelhouse, but I'm always excited to learn about new runs and see new games. So getting to see this is going to be a real treat for me, I think.
We're not really going to get to see it here, but he's going to take a quick little break to shake off his armor now that that collar is gone. So when we see him next, he'll look a little bit different.
Okay.
While we're just kind of hanging out waiting for him to catch up with us, I'm going to try a little skip It doesn't usually work, but there's no shame in trying it since we have nothing better to do.
I mean, with a 3-hour, almost 4-hour run, you may as well try all the skips at least once. And if you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this one would save, 20 seconds or something.
Gotcha.
It's not too major. Draco, my dude. You're kind of right in my face.
Does he tend to do that a lot? The camera. I just saw the camera turn.
The camera has a mind of its own, which when you're playing this game for the first time and you're experiencing its story is awesome because the camera helps you look at things that are important to the story and helps like set the mood. But boy, when you're speedrunning, you're just like yanking the camera and it's like, come on, man, come on, just please.
Give me back control. I need it.
There are actually going to be a couple times in this run where I am just jamming buttons, trying to break the camera so that I can actually move it at all.
Oh, that's fun.
So we picked up this mirror thing. For the rest of the run, we will be calling it the mirror. And it will let us solve puzzles in a unique new way.
Okay. So right now we're effectively in a prison break kind of situation here. Hey, we're trying to get out of wherever we've been locked up.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Coal, because it was basically the only place we could go.
I got one question from chat, if you've got a moment.
Sure.
Do you have... Is this running on PS4 or PS4 Pro?
It's PS4 Pro.
Okay.
That's going to help a little bit with load times because we're going to be doing a lot of checkpoint restarts and we won't have to wait quite as long for the game to load. The point of those checkpoint restarts is going to be so that we don't have to wait for Trico to walk to us. A lot of times if we trigger a checkpoint and then reset, Trico will be right behind us. It'll sort of bump him right next to us.
Trico also does appear to have laser eyes, and I don't know if I that.
He's got a couple special little features.
I love special features. My favorite parts of the DVDs. I'm excited to see what else Trico can do. Ooh. Ooh. Sorry, I'm knocking my whole desk about and almost spilling coffee everywhere.
So one of the first things we learn is that our chicken dog can shoot lightning out of his tail.
That's a very cool ability.
And we will be using that to apparently fall off a cliff.
Oops.
Really a great opportunity to point out that unlike Shadow of the Colossus, which is, this game's predecessor, there is no grab button. There is no way for me to tell the boy, hold on to this, or, please grab this, any of that. So I have to rely on the game to make sure that it understands collision between the boy and whatever he's interacting with, which can sometimes cause things like that. The boy just kind of slides off of something.
You're going faster than intended, and so the game breaks just a little bit. Nintkuro in the chat pointing out, to be fair, Trico is pretty special overall. Not many cat, bird, ferret, dog, weasels with stoplight lights around.
That is a perfect way to describe Trico.
I love my weird dog. I've got to say, there's a little talk of weird frogs. Oh, sorry, no weird dogs. How about weird frogs? Would you like a frog fact?
Fact.
a frog fact. Here is your first frog fact of the night. The gray foam nest tree frog can turn completely white to keep itself cool.
Well, now you know.
The more you know about frogs.
Sable, if you don't mind me asking, I know you mentioned Shadow of the Colossus and Ico. Like, are those stories all set in the same universe, or are they different?
Go. What are you doing, dude? As far as we can tell, they are all in the same universe. We're not entirely sure how. There are, of course, a lot of theories about, how they're connected to each other. But there is a little Easter egg to The Last Guardian in this most recent Shadow of the Colossus remaster for PS4. So I would certainly say that they're in the same universe. Whether this is a prequel, a sequel, that's kind of up to you.
It's cool that Team Ico has thought that through enough as well, though, that oh yeah, we want to have these universes cross over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you can certainly see later in the game we'll be coming across little things like lizards and the vine textures look basically straight out of Shadow of the Colossus.
Makes sense. Man, it's a little freaky to see it just looking at you, tunnel. Some real this game very clearly has a lot of just really evocative imagery.
The imagery is amazing. When we get toward the end of the game, there's going to be lighting that is just
I love really good lighting in any video game. So if I get to see some really good lighting here, I'm going to be a very, very happy bird.
So here's the White Tower. That's what he's looking up at. As the little kid, we don't have any idea where we are or what's happening. So Trico seems to want to go to that White Tower. And as far as we're concerned, that's a great idea. We don't have anywhere else we want to be. He probably knows more than we do. So that's going to be our goal for the majority of the game. Well, I guess for all of the game, is to get to that White Tower.
And we're gonna do some interesting stuff at that White Tower. Not to spoil it, but we're gonna see some pretty interesting things as we get closer and closer.
You may have also noticed that Trico's tail was all sorts of funky colors. He's not normally that way, but if you take the time and effort to collect... Boy, I don't even know, honestly, how many barrels it is. I think it takes 4 playthroughs of giving him every barrel in the game. You can unlock basically a spray paint can. And I have taken the liberty of painting Trico's tail in Malala Fund colors. Don't forget to donate.
Aww, that's a cute touch.
So as you've been doing runs, have you platinumed the game in all of the runs?
Well, the game is actually, you can sort of tell that they were struggling to come up with trophies for it. So it's actually quite hard to platinum through normal play. It takes concerted effort. One of the trophies is to hear every hint. And in order to do that, you literally have to sit and not solve puzzles. You just sit in one place for 10 minutes and wait for the game to give you a hint. So I do have the platinum because I love this game so much, but it's not really the type that you get, by course.
It's not really that doesn't seem like a super fun trophy to have to seek out if you're doing trophy hunting stuff.
Yeah, most people are really not a fan of that particular one. The rest of them are fine. The rest of them are, shoot enemies with Trico's tail and, things like that.
Zappy, zappy, lightning, lightning, let's go.
Yes, there is a trophy for watching Trico. I don't know if it wants you to watch him pee or poop, but one of them.
Bizarre.
Call it a blessed run if we get Trico poops at the end of the game.
Oh, goodness. So while we have a little bit of time here, I'm also going to say, if folks have questions about this run in the chat, I would love to see them, and I'll relay them on to Sable here so we can talk about some cool stuff.
Any questions at all are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have quite a lot of time today with Trico, so. For this beginning part of the game, I have no way to control Trico. We will eventually get the ability to command him, but for right now, I just need to sort of call his name and hope that he generally walks towards me.
And that's part of the game, like AI design, correct?
Mm-hmm. This game, I really do have to give it praise for the AI. Most people, you know, when they hear about people running this game, they're like, oh, that must be so challenging to run something where so much of it isn't reliant on you. But in actuality, Trico does a very good job. There are some things that he can get a little wonky, but for the most part, what we're going to be struggling with is actually getting this boy to do what we want to do, not Trico.
All right, so I've got a couple questions to start us off here. Yeah, so our first question here comes from Sumu, and they ask, what made you pick up this game for the first time?
In part, it was a love of, you know, Shadow of the Colossus. I used to play that game to death as a kid, the original PlayStation 2. And part of it is just because I have such an affinity for story-based games that tell a good story. So this was like the perfect storm for me.
I'm right there with you.
Which I think is why my husband was like, you should probably be the one to play this one.
Okay, I have another question. This one comes from Super Blooper DX, and they ask, are there any major skips in this game?
There are not glitches as such. You know, we're not going to be clipping through walls and things like that. We have basically one major skip, not glitch, that we will be attempting about 2.5 hours into the run, called the White Tower skip. I will do my best to show that off. If we can get it, it'll save about 5 minutes. If we can't, you know, we just get to see a different part of the game instead of doing that. Other than that, we have one small glitch that I've found and have been working to make consistent, where we can cause a couple of suits of armor to not spawn, and so we won't have to fight them. But other than that, it's really just, it's movement optimization, it's knowing how to solve puzzles efficiently.
So it's a lot of execution in this run, then.
Definitely.
All right. Next question, if you're ready for that.
Got these little eyeball things. Anytime we see those, we're going to need to take care of them before Trico will progress. He's terrified of them for some reason. I just wanted to point that out since we're going to be seeing a lot of those as we go.
Yeah, all good.
But
another question?
Questions.
Yes, all right. So this comes from Comics K, and they ask, is this audio in Japanese or some other language?
It's in a made-up language, but if you know Japanese, you can tell that there are like similarities. You can tell that a Japanese person came up with the fake language. But I don't know. I'm saying that as a person who has a linguistics degree, so that's kind of like where that comes from.
It reminds me a little bit
but
of...
yeah, it's totally made up.
It reminds me of Nier Automata in that sense, because they created a hybrid language for the world of Nier.
Sure.
It uses a fusion of the linguistics from both English and Japanese to create a hybrid language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can definitely tell some of the in short words, I guess you could say. Shows how, you know, Japanese people are still trying to put particles into their sentences here, but it's definitely a made-up language. And one of the ways you can tell is because the narrator will basically always say "awizzy" at the end of nearly every sentence. Sometimes my husband and I will just turn to each other, like during lunch or something, and just soulfully look into each other's eyes and go, "awizzy." So why that's stuck with us so much.
Wilhelm KTX asks casually, how long is this game?
Well, there are 3 trophies for doing this game quickly. The most forgiving one gives you 15 hours. I think most people, if they're just really enjoying this game, are probably going to take about 15, maybe 20. Probably not too much more than that.
Do you think you'd recommend it for, would you recommend it for just a casual playthrough?
I would recommend that everybody at least try it. It's not for everybody. Game you like, but you'll know basically by the point that we're already at, whether you like it or not.
That makes sense. Yeah, like, I've definitely heard some mixed things about The Last Guardian. Not ever in terms of its narrative or aesthetics, but always just in terms of it plays a little rough, it feels a little dated. So like
for
if
sure.
if that's a turn off, then it's definitely not going to be for you.
Yes. Like I love this game, and even I will admit the controls are not great.
So I've got a question about the run history here as well. If you wouldn't mind. This comes from the Barrow, and they ask, what is the world record time for this run?
World record is 3 hours and I believe 19 minutes. It's either low 19 or high 18.
Okay.
My personal time, it still shows that my personal time on speedrun is 3:47, but I have 3:28.
Got a couple of offline runs.
Yeah, I don't like to submit if it's not going to be a significant change to the category, so I've just been holding that run until I can. I got a 3:28.40 and I need a 3:28.04 in order to bump the next person, so I'll just hold it until I get that.
All right. I've got a question that I want to save for the end here from Moogly Ridge. So we've got some stuff for later on.
Sure.
Do you want to explain what is happening at this point?
Definitely. So, Trico here, we encountered this cage thingy, and it seemed to drive Trico just completely nuts. What do about it? It kind of turned him against me, and he ate me. Thankfully, he barfed me back up. But in so doing, he seems to have swallowed the mirror that I was using to control his tail, so we don't have that anymore. And honestly, I kind of can't complain. I like it better when we don't have the mirror.
Any particular reason for that?
Oh, I would love to tell you.
Oh, is it spoilers?
Not. It's a personal strong feeling about this game. These,
Maybe
by the way, are the
offline.
enemies. These are the enemies of the game. They are not actually people, they're just kind of clouds of like blue gas or something inside these armor. I will say, Trico hates these guys. He's gonna help me fight them, but he, above all, for some reason, he hates their heads. And we're gonna actually try to use that to our advantage here in just a minute to trigger a pretty helpful little skip. But it's gonna be totally dependent on Trico, which means, you know, RNG, AI, that whole thing. In essence, Trico's gonna help us fight these guys, and when he fights, he's got a couple different attacks that he can use. If he swipes with his hands or grabs one of the armors in his mouth and shakes, that's gonna throw them way off of this tiny little bridge that he's fighting on, and we're not gonna be able to get their helmets. But if he leaves us just one helmet, that's going to be good enough. We're going to be able to throw that into a room that he wouldn't normally be in, and because he hates those helmets so much, he's going to chase it. And then we will be able to climb him while he's still angry, instead of petting him and calming him down, and that's going to let us progress without him. It should make more sense once it starts to happen. Particular moment. That's what I've got to focus on. Alright, Trico, be good to me, buddy. So that's a grab, which means he's probably going to throw this guy off. Yep, there he went. That's good. That's a straight down stomp. Give me your face. Where's your face? Actually, this is even better because okay, well, never mind. Here's a helmet, so that's good enough. We've got a helmet. We're gonna chuck it in here. And we want this helmet to just be gone, please. The reason we want that helmet gone is because he's gonna get angry at it like this. Go away. I'm after this one, my dude. Yeah. Things. Oh, camera. Oh, camera. Where am I? I don't know. I promise this is faster. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it is. Let us do the thing. So we're actually gonna calm him down. He kind of got into a weird situation here. It happens. Dude, chill. Calm down. Thank you. As you can see, I'm now stuck. Chico, could you, like, walk forward a bit, my dude? Hi. So we were trying to keep him in that room so that I could climb his back while he was still angry and not have to calm him down, but it's always real finicky since that one really relies on him. So instead, we'll do this. Over. We are back to being able to take questions.
Oh, I'm muted. Oops. How about a donation instead?
Sure, that would be fantastic.
Tseryl, do you have any donations?
I was muted as well, so things are great today. Yes, we have an anonymous $50 donation. No comment, but thank you very much, Anonymous, for your generosity. We also have Numos donates $5 and says, enjoying these runs from the comfort of chat. Sending love from all of us.
Aw, thanks.
Thank you so much. So we've had a donation. Maybe it's time for another frog fact if we have time, or do you want to explain what's going on first?
Well, the only thing that's going to be happening, this is actually probably a great time, because Trico's going to do a little pre-scripted thing, and then he's just going to look up at the White Tower again to remind us that that's where we want to be going. So, frog fact away.
Frog fact away. All right, here is a frog fact for everyone. All toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads. There's no real distinction between frogs and toads, but only the Bufonidae family is considered true toads, and they're characterized by their toothlessness and warty appearance.
So are you telling me that, like, most of them have teeth?
Most frogs do have a little bit of teeth on the upper jaw.
I had no
It helps
idea.
them. Yeah, it helps them grip onto. It helps them grip onto their prey. And I said this on the. I said this on the Super Mario Sunshine stream as well. But they swallow their food with their eyes by pushing their eyes back into their head.
Of course they do.
It's bizarre. Frogs are weird. Just in case chat didn't know.
Trico's taking a look up here. Here's the White Tower again. Now his little pre-scripted thing is done, and we're going to be able to just rely on him to get us to the next little area. Quick little fact, you see how Trico jumped and the boy just kind of went flopping everywhere? We call that noodling, and whenever possible we don't want to see that because it, you know, obviously it makes it a little bit harder to move around and you have to recover from it. But it has more to do with how far Trico jumps than it does how I'm holding on to him, so sometimes it's unavoidable.
So now, Sable, I have to ask, did you get the E3 Trico plushie?
I didn't. And I'm so sad. The collector's edition of the game, though, which comes with like a little statue and a little Trico feather, some stickers.
Aw, that's cute.
It was actually very nice. One of my viewers who watches me stream this was like, hey, I found a collector's edition at my local used bookstore. And I was like, for real? So it was actually because of them that I even realized that it existed.
So do we have time for a couple more questions?
Sure thing.
All right. This one comes from D Orbital Split, and they ask, is there a significant graphical difference between being on a PS4 and a PS4 Pro?
As far as this game, not really. I think it's just because it was meant to be on the PS3, like even with the PS4 Pro's upscaling, it's not really, you know, significantly different. For other games, sure, but for this one, I wouldn't say so.
Another one on the same sort of note, does the inconsistent frame rate of the game affect any run strategies?
It doesn't change what we do because there's really only usually one thing to do. But it does, you know, it can influence. Ooh, that was a little bit weird. It can influence, you know, time loss. And to some extent, there's nothing you can really do about it except for just live with it.
That's fair.
There's a pretty consistent frame drop right at the end of the game, probably the last 20 minutes or so. In my splits, it used to be called frame skips. So, I mean, it happens. Even on a pro, it still happens.
Only so much that can be done, really. I think when we're talking about like the complications of bringing this game from PS3 to PS4 anyway, like it's probably a miracle that this happened to begin with.
And to be honest, if you guys are familiar with Nomad Colossus, who does a ton of, you know, like lore exploration into the Team Eco games, there is stuff happening in like this entire world all the time. Like if you see windmills, the game is actually rendering the inside of the windmill where the gears are. Like if you can glitch yourself in there and you can see it. So it's thinking about a lot of things that you never see. And that's, I'm sure, part of the reason why sometimes it chugs.
That's wild. That shows a lot of ambition on
It
Team
really
Ico's
does.
part.
Like there are places you can't get to that are fully rendered.
Huh.
Also, Trico is looking up at this, looks like there is another Trico. And he's not really very happy about it.
What? Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on. I thought the whole thing about this game was this is the last Guardian. There
Well,
are two?
Is the last Guardian Trico? Are we the last Guardian, or is it somebody else?
Huh. Questions to be answered.
If we can pull off a little skip here when Trico comes in. Normally he would... Oh, well, hi. You're already here. Into the camera. Normally he would jump up here and we're gonna climb his tail. But instead, I'm gonna try to grab him right by the face. Neck is close enough. Us from having to climb all the way from his butt.
So this actually leads into another question that we had from chat.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. I just got to make sure that I find it. This comes from Snug Flag, and they ask, is the routing and gameplay kind of already set through this run, or do you think there is more left to discover to improve the time?
It is set. There have been times when I have tried to, force the game to skip a checkpoint or get ahead of a section, and it usually does not let you do that. I think that playing on a very specific system with very specific firmware, you might be able to go out of bounds enough that you could break the game and change the sequencing, but as the run is right now, it's basically pretty linear.
Specific firmware probably is like maybe an unpatched version of the game even.
It's actually the PlayStation's firmware. It's 5.05.
Okay, yeah.
That only works like on 5.05, but
okay. Mint Kuro, by the way, asked if you would mind feeding Trico a tasty barrel at some point.
oh, I would love to feed Trico a tasty barrel.
Why does Trico
You're
like
actually-
barrels so much?
Well, the question is, what's in the barrel, and why does he like that so much? Thankfully, at the end of the
Good.
run, we're going to be able to see, or at least get a hint about what might be in those barrels.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. All right.
There's actually going to be a couple skips revolving around giving Trico barrels, because sometimes, because he's a little goober, he's going to say, I'm hungry, and I'm not going to move until you feed me. And in those situations, we're going to get him a barrel, obviously, because we're speedrunners, in the fastest way possible.
Maximum barrel efficiency. That's what we strive for here.
And because I'm sure that you see I'm doing a ton of these resets, these are always to push Trico closer to me so that we don't have to wait for him to do something. In this case, so that we don't have to wait for him to walk onto a pressure plate. Ooh, good luck with those armors.
Can they be a little bit troublesome?
They are almost always troublesome right here. If they grab you, they're going to try to take you into a blue door. Under no circumstances do we want to ever go through a blue door. That's going to be a death, and we're going to have to start back at the previous checkpoint, so we don't want to do that. Sometimes we do want to get captured, because that'll encourage Trico to fight and help us, but we don't ever want to get dragged away.
Blue door bad, capturing sometimes good. All right, I'm picking up the notes here.
In this particular spot right now, maybe not exactly what I wanted, but it's fine. I just didn't really want Trico to get distracted from the enemy that he's currently fighting, which is way back here. Which is why I got myself captured again, to try to get his attention back here.
Like, hey, buddy, over here. Fight or flight instinct. Good job, buddy.
So it's important to note that when he fights, where did he go? There he is. When he fights, he can like destroy these armors like he's been doing. He's been doing great. Or he can just sort of tap them and knock them down. That's called pacifist Trico, and we don't really want to see that. It'll happen sometimes just because it's, you know, unavoidable. But as much as possible, we want to see him exploding these instead of them tapping them down.
I'm nodding, which I realize nobody can see because there's no camera.
I do that all the time. The other thing is that when I get captured, or if the armors are like shooting magic ninjutsu at me, they're going to put symbols on my screen that make it so that I have to mash buttons in order to get them to go away before I can do anything. So if I ever get captured, you'll hear me just smashing the controller real quick. This is the room where we're going to learn how to control Trico. However, the game wants you to do it in a very lengthy way. It wants us to break that box over there and then realize that we can tell Trico to do that. That takes a long time because we have to wait for the narrator to tell us, like, oh, maybe you should try, like, telling him what to do. So instead, I'm gonna pet Trico's head to make him sit down. And let me get up on this pillar. And then we're gonna just hop over here and the entire room is complete. That is called Command Skip, and it saves us about 3 minutes.
Very fast. Nice work.
Thank you. I'm actually relieved because lately the boy has just not wanted to grab that staircase.
Alright, do we have time for maybe a donation or two?
Sure.
All right, Sam153 donates $5. No comment, but thank you very much for the donation. I also just want to plug the fact that we have the... Oh, crap. I just lost my sheet.
Uh-oh. The fact that we have the... Oh, crap.
It was a Trico poop, right? All right, I found it. Let's see. We have the SGDQ 2020 submission period that's going to be opening up from March 4th to March 14th. They're looking for both runners and volunteers, so if you're interested in helping out in any way, definitely get over to gamesdonequick.com and get your submissions in.
And hey, check out games. Wow. I can speak words good. English. What is that? I've never heard of it. If you go to gamesdonequick.com/donate now, you can check out that page and chip in a little bit to the Malala Fund. It's a great cause, and I'd love to see a $5 donation train for some frog facts. Could we do that, chat? You know what to do.
Frog facts. We need them.
I've got so many of them. I spent like a couple hours researching frog facts for this run.
Nice grab, dude. Thanks for just phasing through me. For once. Way to go.
As a reminder for chat as well, we're taking questions throughout this run. So if you have questions about the game or the run, feel free to put them in here and we'll see if we can get them answered.
I did see someone point out, and they're correct, that Trico's horns are growing back a little bit. They were broken at the beginning of the game. And as we go through, or more specifically, as we feed him more barrels, his horns will continue to grow.
Huh.
Some people myself included, kind of think there's probably a reason for that. But we'll wait until a little bit more of the story comes out. Trico, what are you sniffing? Sometimes he just has a fascination with this room and does not want to go anywhere, so I have to work very hard. There we go, to get his attention.
So we've got a couple of questions in the chat that we've answered before, so I'll just get them out of the way really quick.
Sure.
Where90 asks if the run has glitches or if it's just efficient gameplay. It's just being efficient at your gameplay. It's all execution.
Basically.
And a casual playthrough of the game, to answer the Terminese question, is about 15 to 20 hours.
Yep, I would say so. And in reality, it game and you know how to solve the puzzles, it's not unreasonable to approach very quick times, just even sort of casually. I mean, the trophy, the fastest trophy, requires you to beat the game in under 5 hours. And considering we're going to be coming in at about 3:30 if everything goes well, that's, you know, not a very big divergence between casual players and speedrunners.
That boy did a funky grab earlier. I did
sure
see him
did.
kind of just go everywhere. That was great.
Oh, he does it sometimes. Like, there was once thank you, little boy, at a very crucial time when he grabbed with his arms completely like inverted and backwards. So when I pressed left, he went left. And then when I pressed right, he also went left. Sometimes he's funky. That's what I mean when I say that the game is actually, you know, 90% getting the boy to do what you want, not Trico.
Absolutely funky, you little goblin.
So again, I'm going to be getting myself caught here on purpose to try to encourage Trico to fight. That guy just got decimated. Oh, Trico. Trico, why did you do that, buddy? So we're back here because Trico thought that he didn't really want a travel companion anymore. I suppose you could say that's the negative of intentionally getting caught. Sometimes Trico can just smack you into oblivion.
Oops. A little imprecise when you're that big, I have to imagine. All right, I see.
Messing him up.
I see we've maybe got a few donations in. Is this a good time?
Sure.
Give me just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, yes, the screen is showing donations, but my screen is not showing donations. So, give me a second.
That's all good.
Ghost
I'll cover with a frog fact while we wait for that. So let's see. Look at my document of frog facts. We talked about frogs and toads earlier, and how all toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads. Toads that are in the Bufonidae family, including the common toad, have poison glands on the back of their heads. So I see we've got one of those mirrors there.
Yeah, he is definitely not a fan of those, so we want to get those out of the way whenever we can. Come on, dude. Yeah.
Does the story ever explain why he doesn't like those eye window things?
I think that we're kind of just expected to understand that, like, it's probably just most likely that he was, you know, punished presence to teach him not to pass into areas where those hung so that they could, you know, better control what he did. But no, there's no real explanation besides speculation. Seeing that not only are those things going to be sitting on the ground, but enemies will have shields that are just mini versions of those, and so Trico will refuse to fight whenever enemies have those shields until we take care of them.
Huh.
If Trico gives me a good opportunity, I'm going to take this spear out. I love Trico. Normally we don't have a ton of time to take spears out, but we do want to make sure that we don't have too many late in the run. If he has too many spears, we're not going to be able to progress. So we want to keep these kind of on the down low as we go on.
Save the animals.
Yes.
One other frog fact while we do this little bit of platforming with Trico. All right. This is another frog fact. We are still cataloging brand new species of frogs. In February 2019, a species of previously undocumented frog was found in a roadside puddle in India's Western Ghats, and it's now known as Frankie's narrowmouth frog.
That sometimes they're just like on the street, new species, and you're like, oh, I've never seen this before. You would think it would be in like the middle of a jungle or something.
No, it was just
It's like, no,
in
he's
a
just
puddle.
chilling by your house.
Just chilling.
To trick the game here into thinking that we haven't fallen far enough to take fall damage. If we take fall damage, the boy will limp, and that takes time, and nobody wants that. But we're gonna fail, so we don't even have to worry about it. And the boy there. At the top of that pillar is a very small area where the boy will think that he's climbing the pillar instead of landing on it, if he lands on it. And we can use that to negate this little bit of time where he waddles around. We didn't get it, but that's alright. Always worth trying, because one way or another we have to make it down here.
How big of a skip is that?
About the time that it takes to waddle around like that, so about 10 seconds. To be honest, that's actually the first time I've missed that in like probably 3 months. It happens from time to time.
That reminds me of a question I saw earlier as well, if this is a good opportunity.
Sure.
How many runs of this game have you done?
Oh boy. I think that my splits say like 30-ish since my last like significant PB.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean it's over 100. I'm not really sure. It's not like 1,000 or anything, but it's quite a few. I've been running this since the beginning of my time speedrunning on Twitch, which has now been easily more than a year, so.
Yeah, I have to imagine this isn't a super reset-heavy game.
It's not really. In the room where those armors were kind of turtled into the ground, and we were trying to get Trico into the room to help us with them, that's basically the last point where you might reset. Now and then you can get an essentially completely pacifist Trico right from the beginning, and that's just... it's just a bad Trico day, you know? So if you get to that room and he's just not cooperating, you might reset for better Trico AI, but the last time I've reset this run. Because so much can change at any point because this is a run that relies on an AI. So there's really no sense in resetting unless you just completely flub the first like 5 minutes, you know?
Alright, so what are you up to now?
Well, can't get through this door because he's far too big and because it relies on him yanking on that chain, which I've tricked him into yanking by putting a barrel full of whatever that blue goo is that he likes. So I'm gonna wedge this underneath the door, actually, so that he can squeeze himself through. But he's become a little distracted, which is always unavoidable. He's gonna try to headbutt this grate, and I'm gonna use my commands to unfortunately yell at him and tell him not to do that. It's technically the punishment command, which I don't like to use when I can help it. We've got him focused again on yanking this thing.
We want Trico
It's
to be
RNG.
a good boy.
Yeah. It's RNG, how quickly he does the big pull that opens this door. Good about it lately. Here we go. Now, I don't know what this thing is, an axle, a something, I don't know. He loves it. He is obsessed with it. So, yeah, I don't know. So he's gonna come over and sniff it, and the best we can do is just try to get his attention. Sometimes he'll just come right to us, sometimes we'll be here for a minute, you know?
Yoo-hoo, big boy.
Yeah, Trico, buddy.
Come on.
It's an old rusty doodad. I'm sure there's more interesting things over here. Let's go. Here you go.
Trico.
Come on.
bud.
He'll do the... Oh, here we go. He'll do the same in the next room. We've got some mirrors coming up. That can be a little bit confusing, that the speedrunning community calls both the boy's tool and those eyeball things mirrors. But the eyeball things that he hates are similarly called mirrors.
May I propose a new name for the eyeball things?
Absolutely.
Eyeball things. You can apply that to both the shields and the mirrors.
Well, then we're going to be taking out some eyeball things while this cutscene is playing. Or, wow, what were you aiming at, little boy? You see, he's very upset until we take these out of his life.
Smashing mirrors. The unsuccessful follow-up band to Smashing Pumpkins.
I was just going to say that Smashing Mirrors sounds like an epic band name.
They had their fans, I'm sure.
Just like with the Axel thing back there, sometimes we can get his attention right away, sometimes he just really likes this eyeball. Here you go.
Yoo-hoo.
Here you go. He doesn't usually do this. He doesn't usually just, get stuck in places.
Yoo-hoo.
There you go.
It's gonna blow out.
Boy, there we go.
Come on.
He was just all about that eyeball. If you've ever played The Last Guardian demo, I believe that this is the part that you play.
Okay.
Oh, camera. Why do you do this to me? Jerking all the way around mid-jump, thanks.
Am I correct in see? Oh. Wait, no, that's not the. No, okay. I thought we were just coming up on the area that I had notes on, but nope. We're still quite a ways away.
Yeah, we are certainly quite a ways away.
Do you want to explain what you're doing through this section?
This is really the first section of the game where you just cannot solve these puzzles without Trico. So I need to use commands and sort of our understanding of each other to get myself across these broken platforms. This is going to be the first time in the game. You ready, buddy? That we're going to be able to do this. He can absolutely miss, so don't have any, like, preconceived notion that he loves you so much that he'll always catch you.
Aww. Oh my gosh.
There are definitely runs where, you know, everything's going great, and then you just see Trico. He doesn't even open his mouth. He just stares down at you as you fall to your death.
What a sweetheart.
He's such a good guy.
Bless you, Trico.
He tries his best.
You know what? That's all
And
that
Trico
any
trying
of us
his
can
best. Yeah, Trico trying his best, like, it's great. It is sometimes the cause of very heavy time loss, because his best is sometimes a little bit interruptive, but you can't really fault him for it.
Got a question related to Trico being a good boy from
Sure.
Overkill Syndrome. Overkill Syndrome has asked, what was the longest time that Trico has spent being distracted by something in a run?
About 3.5 minutes. There's a bit later where he just... There was something like inside the floor that he wanted, and boy.
I'm sorry, that was the most terrifying jump. I thought that Trico was going to drop you there for sure, but no, he snagged you on the tail.
Just,
Some really
he's
great
always ready to
camera
help.
work through here. Oh my goodness.
So artistic, it's wonderful. Here, if I take too long, Trico will fall. It's not, like I said, it's not a game that makes sure you experience the story. You do actually have to, you know, work hard to do things well and do them quickly when Trico's in trouble.
I'm seeing Pogs in the chat after that. Trico can have little a distraction as a treat.
So we're going to be able to move during this cutscene by virtue of where we were standing on Trico. He's going to give himself a little scratchy. So, this guy in the back has a spear. Normally that'd be fine, except when we go close to him, he pulls out a sword. And he'll stand in our way. Unless Trico is here, which I just summon him to me by restarting the checkpoint. So now, that guy will keep his spear and he'll walk right out of our way so that we don't have to deal with him. These quick chain climbing like movements that I'm doing are actually credit to Vanquish, also known as the Eevee Bro, and Parhelion. Boy, would you just grab this, please? Our runners of Limbo and Inside, another sort of story-based puzzle game. Me, that chain climbing thing in Inside. And I thought, I wonder if it works in The Last Guardian, and it turns out it does. So that's where that fast chain climbing movement came from.
Got some more questions if you're ready and able.
Sure thing.
All right. So this comes from Cuttlefish Man, and they ask, how interested in this game were you before the release? Did you come to it from Shadow of the Colossus or Ico?
I came to it from Shadow of the Colossus, and all I knew was that it was a game sort of like Eco, however you choose to pronounce it. In the sense of like how it would play with puzzle solving and things like that, except that instead of a girl, it's a chicken dog. Like that was all that I knew. And thoroughly impressed with what they came up with.
Having just come away from raising chickens for 9 weeks, I appreciate Chicken Dog.
He sometimes has, about the same level of intelligence as a baby chicken.
I'm seeing some people in the chat asking if you can pet the dog. Can you
Sure.
pet this chicken dog?
Yeah. In fact, there will be some times when he's making long jumps that I will pet him just to make sure that the boy doesn't let go. But I can pet him.
Okay.
Do have to be careful when we pet him though, because he likes it and it puts him to sleep.
Oh no!
If you pet him in the wrong time, he'll go to sleep right in the middle of your speed run.
Oh, sweet baby. We can't have that, but oh my goodness.
It's yawn sound. The sound designers did like an awesome job with that. It's the cutest thing. So we are dangling currently over an abyss of nothingness
Seems
to get
not
rid
great.
of this eyeball, which is what I'm currently climbing. Because Trico is, as you can see, well, I say as you can see, but he's not currently, upset at. And he won't progress until we get rid of this.
So we knock out this eyeball thing, and then we make Trico happy again.
This is literally just make Trico happy %.
The one thing that's always amazed me about this game is that there is no fear of heights. Like,
This
None
boy
of-
is fearless. Absolutely. Like, if you said, okay, you can have a Trico chicken dog, but you have to do this first, I'd be like, do I really need a Trico chicken dog in my life? But
Some
he's just like, nope,
advanced-
nope.
Advanced stunts.
I mean, I guess he doesn't... What does he have to lose? I guess he's stuck in this valley. He might as well, like, try these things, because the alternative is just being stuck here forever. I guess.
Chat would like to remind you to not look down.
I think I will agree with that. Oh, well, the camera panned down for me, so...
Oh no.
It's that cinematic camera I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone, buddy. Let's go.
Is he gonna catch you from this height?
No, he's gonna progress, and I'm going to say, you know what? A 50-foot fall, no problem. Because as long as you land on Trico, it doesn't matter how far you fall, you're always safe.
I'm glad to know that our soft, fluffy bird dog friend negates all fall damage.
Yeah, he definitely does. There are some very far falls that we'll choose to take specifically because he negates fall damage. Okay, can I just say, this has nothing to do with speedrunning. I'm sitting here in my room, my living room, streaming this. And I have noticed and been watching a spider on the ceiling. Being closer, and then something just fell in front of my face, and now I don't see it.
Well,
I
good
am
night,
deceased.
folks. Gotta log off after that one, because no. I actually did see... That reminds me, I saw a cricket in my room that I no longer see, which is not ideal. okay. The speedrun is more important, folks. Spiders are good. They do keep the house healthy, but like also, I do not like looking at them and would rather they not touch me. Please do not.
We do actually have like intentional spiders that we keep around in our house because they help like take care of like gnats and stuff that would be in the lizard enclosures, but I don't really need one on my eyeballs right now.
Nope. Seems bad. At least it's not like I'm a 3-hour flight from Australia, and I'm sure that you've heard just how bad the spiders are there.
Yeah, this isn't an Australian spider, at least.
Thank goodness we don't need to talk about spiders anymore, though.
Trico's just kind of chilling here. He doesn't have anywhere to go. That drawbridge over there on the right is what we're going to be trying to open up for him so that he has a place to stand. But for now, he's standing on a crumbling pillar and really hoping that we'll be back soon to help him. I'm gonna skip a little cutscene here by hopping right close to that corner. Symbols pop up on the screen like they are there. It's because this guy's doing some ninjutsu over here. The easiest way to clear those is going to be for me to spam call Trico, because that's the only button I have that doesn't actually make the boy do something like crouch down or like roll or something.
Right.
So that's why I'm mashing call Trico even though he can't come to me.
Makes sense. So you're on the run. There's a little bit of a chase sequence here.
Yeah. We're trying to get these open as fast as possible, not only because Armor is coming after me, but because Armor is also attacking Trico with spears and because he's standing on a crumbling pillar. Hi, dude, you're not usually here. Excuse me, can you not? Can you please not take me through this blue door? Do not take me through the blue door. That was closer than I would have liked. The guy is not usually there. He doesn't usually follow that far. He does sometimes. That's kind of surprising, though.
And so the solution, I guess, is just like you press a bunch of buttons to break free in the event that Trico can't help you.
Let's see if we can get this to work on the first try. Awesome. Supposed to jump on the breaky parts, but that's the fastest way. So we're going to be doing, hopefully, drawbridge skip. Attempt to meet Trico on his way over here. Normally, you would wait for Trico to land on this drawbridge and then, you know, fall down and land on his tail. I'm going to try to land on his head. Well, you know, the middle of his back / neck is actually pretty good, so I will take it. Because the alternative is having to climb all the way up from his tail. And we don't want to see that. He has a place to stand now. Now, for those of you in chat who wanted me to give Trico a barrel, now is the time. He's gonna stop in this field. Yeah, he's gonna stop in this field and say, "I'm not moving until you feed me," because I'm hungry. I have 2 barrel skips that we're gonna do in this run. In both instances, there's a barrel like in a pit or, you know, sort of stuck in a little puzzle, and you are meant to throw the barrel from platform to platform and kind of, you know, rush over to it before it can roll off. But ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm gonna walk this up a wall, and I'm gonna try using a little bit of camera manipulation and a little bit of movement manipulation to hook the boy's foot on a tiny little section that he can walk up. And we should hopefully be able to just pop our way out of here.
Fingers crossed, first try. Come on.
we're gonna have to be careful here, because walking off the side is gonna reset the trick. So, there we go.
First try.
Not too bad, not too bad. And out we go. Throw this barrel. We'll do that one more time. A little bit later in the run when he gets hungry again. Same premise. There will be platforms and we're gonna camera manip to hop ourselves up onto the end of it. Trico, I'm gonna give you this barrel. Please eat it. Please don't, like, chuck it across the room after I leave. Just put it in your mouth, okay?
You can do it, bud.
Do not believe how hard it is for him to eat that sometimes. Because he'll put it in his mouth, and then when he tries to, like, pork it down, he'll end up just throwing it across the room, and then he'll just sit there and be like, "Ooh, Baru, help me." And I'm like, why isn't he coming to me? He's standing up, so he ate it.
Oh, buddy. He's doing his best. He's shaped like a friend. I love Trico.
Trico's best is always definitely Trico's best. I'm not convinced that the boy always does his best.
I'm sure the boy is trying. Come on, credit where credit's due.
Trico has flashlight eyeballs. It's really hard to get him positioned for this jump.
What?
So we'll see what we can get accomplished here, if he understood.
Hey, just a quick update on how I'm feeling about those flashlight eyes. Not great, dog.
Got this, Trico? You can do it. It's a tough jump, I know. You got it. Good job, buddy. It'll take him a minute to line this up here, so in the meantime, I'm gonna take these spears out.
Good thinking. And while you take those spears out, maybe we have a donation?
Sure.
Yay, my donation tracker is working. All right, we have Beta82 with $100 donation. Says, that slide run was wonderful. Keep up the awesome work, lady.
Thank you very much. As a reminder for everyone in chat, as we are raising money for the Malala Fund with Frame Fatales. So, that is a fund aiming to get education out to young girls around the world. So we're hoping that we raise a little bit more money. I'd like to see a little donation train. Say $5 and $5 at 125. How about that? In the run, we do $5 donation train at 125, and we get some frog facts.
Depending on how loud you've got your audio for this run, you may be able to hear that there's some distant, sort of vaguely Trico sounding noises. So the game is letting you know for sure now that there is another Trico, just in case you didn't see it before when Trico was looking at it. spooky every time I do it. So Trico's distracted by this eyeball. I need to manipulate the camera. There we go. To skip climbing that first half of that rope. Would I jump face down over an abyss of death to try to grab a rope? Absolutely not.
No, I don't trust my grip enough for that. No, thank you.
And you know, the funny thing is that this game actually does have some sense of grip strength. There are times when you can be going so fast that the boy will grip and then let go again. So it's always spooky to go after that rope that way.
My goodness.
Also, these are the vines that I was talking about earlier that are very reminiscent of Shadow of the Colossus.
Speaking of Shadow of the Colossus and of this game in general, I want to take it back to the big picture here for a second, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So we just got a quick question from Nick6789 in chat, and they have asked, what is the main kind of point to the game? What are we trying to do?
Sure. Well, we as this little boy have just been deposited at the bottom of this giant, like, enclosed valley. We don't know why we're here. We want to get home. And Trico seems to kind of maybe know where he wants to go. He wants to go to a big white tower that we can sometimes see in the distance. So the boy is thinking, right, like, I don't know anything about this place. I guess I'll just trust Trico and go with him to that white tower. Because maybe from the top, we'll be able to figure out where to go and how to get out. We're just trying to make our way closer and closer to the white tower and further up, because this is a very deep valley with very high walls. So we're trying to get ourselves out.
You know, has there ever been someone who has created kind of a map of everywhere that you go in Alaska?
You know, it's in the minusculely small sense that I can say this game is like Dark Souls. If you can see it, you will probably go there. So making a map is basically just taking pictures of everything you see and putting it together.
Kind of like early cartography then.
Yeah, basically, like, like I said, if you see it, we're probably going to end up there at some point. Which I guess is part of the reason why this game renders so much at one time, because it is actually all playable surface. So we got an eyeball down here that we're going to need to get rid of for Trico. And because he just jumped backwards, we're going to reset so that we don't have to wait for him to jump towards us again.
Oh my god, I'm looking at how terrifying just this whole valley is. Suboptimal, I would say.
Yeah, I don't really think this place was very much built for people. I think it was built for giant creatures like Trico who can hop around and be just fine.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Here's an example of a time when I'm gonna pet Trico on purpose so that I don't fall off. And there's that big white tower we were talking about. That's where we're trying to get to. We're actually getting quite high. Kind of going a little bit in the background.
I hear puppy noises.
Yeah, I didn't think he would be a problem, but actually I think there's a deer standing outside. So...
Oh no!
Myself very quickly if he happens to go ballistic.
Can we pet the dog?
The dog is all over the place right now.
Okay. So no dog petting.
But they're good dogs, Brent.
So we gotta get rid of this eyeball as well before Chico will progress. So let her rip.
All right. We want to go for some frog facts. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we've got a little cutscene here.
All right. I got a little frog facts then.
Yeah.
So in frogs, the tibia, the fibula, and the tarsals, which are like the main base of the foot bones, they've all been fused together into a single strong bone. And related to climbing, tree frogs have pads that are located at the end of their toes, which are designed to help them grip vertical surfaces. These pads do not work when they're very wet, but they do allow for the frogs to climb surfaces that are completely smooth and vertical.
So I guess that's how they climb the little glass tanks that they're in.
Exactly. But if they get too wet, it just doesn't work.
Alright, so Trico knows what he wants to do now that we've sorted out that whole eyeball issue. And for the rest of this tower, he is going to be, oh dear, the one in control. I do not want to be close to this wall. Okay. I can get stuck on the wall, and then he will just shoot out from under me like a surfboard. And bye-bye Trico, there is no getting him back. The entire time that we're going up this tower, I am going to be petting him as he gets ready to jump, just to make sure that the boy grabs. We're also going to be getting a cutscene fairly soon that is kind of lengthy. And when we do that, I'm going to take the opportunity to get up and stretch a little bit.
Sounds like a plan. Do we have any donations while we wait?
I'm just actually gonna plug the Yeti. We're donating the Yeti is donating $5 per Frost Fatale's shirt purchase to Malala Fund. So if you haven't gone to theyeti.com, I suggest you go there because we have some awesome Faith mascot t-shirts available for sale.
Yeah, I remember seeing that that long sleeved one that they've got. That looks really cozy.
It looks so cool. I'm so excited for that one.
GDQ has never sold a shirt like that before, I don't think. So this is a really cool opportunity to get a little something different.
Yeah, if you collect GDQ t-shirts like I collect GDQ t-shirts, it's definitely something to consider adding to the collection. I'm actually really sad because my awesome Games Done Quick got a hole in it thanks to my cat. And so now
no.
I know, right? And so now I've just made the decision that I'm just gonna buy 2 GDQ t-shirts because I wear these things so much.
Heck yeah. Oh wow, we've got a friend / enemy? We've fallen. That's not great. Oh no.
Trico has an anime rival.
That's exactly what that is, isn't it? Oh.
You know, it's funny that you say "Long live the king" because that's the name of the split that I split right there.
Oh.
I fell a long way. We're not nearly as close to that white tower as we were.
Which is unfortunate since we're trying to get there.
Thankfully, he's all right. He's just a little bit beaten up.
Doing all right, just hanging out in this tree, doing our best.
It's all bloody again.
Oh no, buddy.
So he realizes we're up here, and he, in his little chicken dog brain, is trying to figure out how to get us out of this tree, because we certainly can't get out by ourselves. So he's trying to grab for us, reach for us, and we're well too far away for that. So he thinks, okay, how about I try to grab you with my mouth?
I'm gonna bite you.
Nope, still too far. So instead, there's this little platform above me, and I'm gonna give him the command to jump up there. We should be able to get out of this mess.
Fingers crossed.
Be attempting a skip that is going to once again try to trick the game into not killing us when we fall a very far distance. Again, by sort of interrupting the fall with something interactive that the boy can do so that the game resets its idea of how long we've been falling for. If we miss it, we absolutely are going to die though. You go, your butt's kind of in the way.
All right, I just have to
It
take
counted as a death because of the fall distance, even though we did actually land
Oh, no.
the skip.
I'm sorry, by the way. I do have to take a quick break, but I will
Sure.
be right back.
No problem. I am actually going to try that skip again because it is kind of unusual that it still decided to count for a death. I think we can get it this time. Oof, looking good. Our other barrel skip because Trico is hurt and so he's hungry. He wants food to help him feel better. So again, no throwing this from platform to platform. We are just going to try to pop ourselves right up there, and that was basically immediately, so that's fantastic.
Good job. Oh, I remember this. This room took me hours. So you're gonna what's the strategy?
Normally, right, you would have to throw the barrel onto platforms that are like sloped and then hop up onto them before the barrel rolls off. And then you have to do that, multiple times. With that skip, we skip all of the sloped platforms and just walk our way out of there, so.
That is incredible. Oh my goodness.
Barrels, it's kind of more than just food for Trico. It's like healing juice. Whenever he eats them, he always feels like immediately better. You see his horns are almost fixed after eating this many barrels.
Is there a like an official soundtrack to this game?
There is, and it is fantastic. It is certainly my favorite of the Team Eco soundtracks. Shadow of the Colossus has some real highlights, but this one I think is just pretty solid all the way through.
I remember watching a featurette on the composer who did the Last Guardian soundtrack. I mean, because I don't believe he had ever really composed for this level of a project before.
We actually ended up having some of this Last Guardian music in our wedding.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Our entire wedding was video game music, but Last Guardian made the cut.
So now, in your household, is it only you who's beaten the game, or has your husband beaten the game?
And chilling with me while I've played it. Like, he was there the first time that we played through it together. Hey, what are you doing? So you can't really see them at the moment, but we've got a couple armor guys up here that are going to be the first ones in the game that are holding those eyeball shields that I was talking about before. So Trico will not fight until I take care of those. Because we know that he's scared of these creepy glass eyeballs. I'm actually gonna do a little bit of risk here and just straight up knock that guy off. It's gonna leave me less time to go after this guy, but we're good.
Well, so now I want to know what other video game music featured in.
Trico! Buddy, he is just on a murderous rampage today. We had City of Tears from Hollow Knight and White Palace from Hollow Knight. We had Cass's theme and Rito Village from Breath of the Wild. Guinevere's theme from Dark Souls. There was a lot. What else? What a jerk. Alright, let's try this again, Trico. Maybe with less friend murder. Like, I want to go and get captured because it's going to encourage him to fight faster, but I'd rather not get yeeted out of the window again. I think, probably, maybe, all the enemies are dead. I hope so, because we're about to reset, and if they're not, that's bad. Okay, good. They were dead. Blue butterflies, by the way. If these butterflies are around you, it indicates that you're pretty close to a barrel if you want to give one to Trico. There's one behind these armors. If you go pick up one of the heads of the armor that we just took out and bring it over here, it'll wake the guy up and you can get behind him. So up ahead is a room that is just filled with the smoke and mist from whatever it is that Trico likes to eat. There is no way we are getting his attention from this until we completely clear this room of all of that smoke, because he is kind of addicted to this stuff.
Oh, sweet Trico. I've returned,
Head
by the way.
first down dove into this mist. He's just all about it.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You know, speaking of, since you said that Trico likes to eat barrels and likes to inhale the smoke. Like, has the little boy eaten anything or like drunk anything this entire?
Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced that he's human. Does he have human needs? I don't know. Because the answer is no, he has not had anything to eat or drink. Maybe he's just picking these lizards up off the ground. Based
Having a little
on,
lizard snack.
yeah, based on what we're kind of seeing at the end of the game for suggesting what might be in these barrels, don't really think the boy wants to be eating any of that. We're trying to get this giant pot of addiction goo out of Trico's face. Because that's just all he can think about right now. So the good news is we dumped that entire pot of whatever it was Trico was focused on into the water. Bad news is we're now swimming in it, and I don't know what it is.
Nothing good at this point.
I would have to agree because the water is now the best color green I have ever seen.
Tasty.
Yeah.
You know what else is green?
Frogs?
Frogs. Would you like
Yeah.
another frog fact?
I would love a frog fact.
Well, we were talking about the boy being human, and that whether or not he was human, and I was reminded of this other frog fact I knew. Many parts of a frog's brain actually correspond with human brains.
So they have like... I mean, do they have like... They don't have like sense of self, right?
They don't have a sense of self, no, but they have like similar structure
Sure.
in their brains compared to humans. It's really fascinating. We're talking about weird things that frogs can do. No frog has external ears, and in many species, their eardrums are actually directly exposed. In others, the eardrums are covered with a thin layer of skin.
I suppose I kinda knew that one, because my little lizard also has exposed eardrums.
Aw,
So we're trying to get Trico to look at us so that he'll pop his tail through the hole that he just made in the ceiling and help us get out of here. Sometimes, like right now, he can be a little bit wonky in trying to get that tail down. It's coming. It won't get stuck because it definitely can. It's coming. Trico, could you stop like juking your tail right from out under my hand, buddy? Trico, my dude, my dude. Oh, you better keep your tail here. Thank you. Don't leave me behind, please. Ceiling. Ooh. Oh, he's getting me so stuck on the ceiling. Help. Okay. I am okay. Oh, that's always so spooky.
Atakiam, inosuke dasta sadu, yewoje kui.
yeah, from what I've seen of this game, it definitely seems like the controls are inconsistent. Oh, boy just went upside down for a hot second there.
Yeah, I genuinely think that the only difference between a pretty informed casual player and a speedrunner of this game is more practice with controlling the boy. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with just, being lucky with Trico. It's just learning how to make the boy not be dumb as often as possible. It's the only difference, because
It's the little things.
yeah, the controls really are just super wonky. There's no getting around it. You have to understand, like, when you're playing casually, right, you're not trying to go quite this fast, so it's not as bad. But it definitely is still there.
I see it's time for another tasty barrel.
Yeah, he will. See, he's complaining over here because he's like, I want food. We have the barrel before the game even says, like, he's hungry. Here you go, buddy.
A simple act of anticipating his needs.
So for the person who asked earlier, what's the longest that Trico's ever been stuck? And I said 3.5 minutes. It was right here. He looked at, like, this spot in the floor and was just obsessed with it. There's nothing there. Like, normally when he gets stuck, it's because, he sees something, like a torch or something that catches his attention that he likes. But in this case, it was just, he was super angry at something inside the floor. End of that. Thankfully, he's right on point here this time.
Say what you will about this game, they really captured the spirit of, like, working with an animal.
They
Trico
definitely
is
did.
exactly as unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. That gives a lot of people, like, trouble. That's, I think, why some people don't like the game, because it can get frustrating, to deal with an AI that doesn't always listen. But makes the run good. It's what makes it unique and what makes it fun and prevents it from being boring no matter how much I run it. Like, I never know what Trico is going to do for sure. I can give him suggestions, but in the end, that's all they are.
You can try. Try as you might, though.
Big white tower again. We're gonna continue to head that way, trying to get out of the valley.
As the story progresses, does the loyalty and trust build up based on the number of barrels? Or, like, is it by certain, like, story or, like, milestone checkpoint?
Milestone. It does get better throughout the game. Like, you can see here, Trico is going to throw me onto his back, which he never did before. It's actually a risky strategy to let him do that, but it turned out just fine. So as we hit certain milestones in the game, he will start to, I don't want to say listen better, but he'll start to almost think better for himself and need my guidance a little bit less.
Regaining his confidence, I guess?
Being able to know without having to be told what it is that I want. So I have been working on developing this glitch. We'll see if we can get it to work here, but in order to get it to work, I need to be in a very specific spot. Good, probably. If I land before Trico in a certain spot, hopefully when we go into this room, there will only be one suit of armor. No, they all spawned. That's too bad. if we can glitch it just right, the only armor that will spawn is this guy back here with a spear. And the other 3 just will not exist at all. And obviously that's pretty nice. I'm gonna need to get myself back down on the ground or Trico's not gonna fight since this guy has a shield. Let me down.
Yeah, I saw that we were seeing some of the eyeball thing come in play here.
Oh, you stood directly in the way, you troll. Trico, can you help me, please, before he picks the mirror up again? Well, yes and no. Don't pick that up. Well, thanks, Trico. It's fine that he didn't kill that guy, because now I can take this thing and just chuck it so we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Trico's doing his best.
Yeah, he's real pacifist on this guy. Whenever there's a mirror, if Trico actually gets stopped by the mirror, like if I don't take care of the mirror guy before Trico notices, it'll turn him much more pacifist than normal. So we want to try to get those mirrors taken care of as quickly as possible.
I love his cute little stomp animation.
He's gonna help us out with this gear, since he's the only one tall enough to turn it.
While we have a moment as well, I'd just like to remind chat that we are taking questions about the run. If you would like to ask questions about the run, about the game, we'd love to answer.
Any questions are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You got this, dude. No, what? Not over there. Over here. Oh, yes and no. Mostly yes. You've got it. Rico, here's that big white tower. That break in the bridge up there is where we're actually going to be attempting White Tower skip a bit later. It is, without a doubt, the hardest thing that we're going to be trying to do in this run. It's the only strategy that we may just, you know, sort of leave behind if it doesn't seem to be working, but I will do my best to show that off for you guys. If we can get it, it'll save about 5 minutes. It's a very important trick if you're, you know, gunning for some of the top times.
I've got a couple questions now from chat, if you're ready.
Sure thing. Yeah.
All right.
This is a great time, actually.
From Starburst3, what is the funniest thing that you've had happen to you in-game?
Oh boy. With a game like this, all sorts of things can happen. I mean, obviously, you know, a variety of being kicked out of windows, and I would have to say, though, we've already passed it. That time when that eyeball was hanging down and we, like, flipped the lever and dropped it right before the other Trico knocked us back down into the valley. At that point, right, you have to drop and let Trico catch you, or else you can't get down. And my very first playthrough, like, when I was just casually playing, Trico stared at me, and we, like, made eye contact as we passed each other's faces. He didn't even bother to open his mouth, and he just, like, stared at me as I plunged into the abyss, and then as my screen was fading to black from dying, then he opened his mouth to try to catch me.
A little bit late on the draw, there, Trico. Simon Agner asks, isn't it frustrating speedrunning a game that relies so heavily on AI?
I think that's people's primary reason that they don't run this game. And I think that you can look at it two ways, right? You can look at it as frustrating, which it certainly can be. you might sense a little bit of salt. Actually, kind of coming up once we're done with these water puzzles. We'll be hitting cage puzzle, and we might end up getting a little bit salty. So it can be frustrating. Or you can look at it as no two runs are the same, and it's always interesting and unique. Harder to get a good time, right? Because sort of things out of your control have to line up to help you. But I find it frustrating unless I'm doing like particularly well and then something tanks. I don't usually find it too frustrating because I love playing this game and I love having a unique run every time.
I could see it being kind of comparable to like RNG loot in like a Diablo or something where you need specific items, and when you get it, you get that satisfaction of like, oh, this is the run.
Like there have been times even at marathons where I have run this and tower skip, the best cage puzzle that I have ever had. Between those two things, we're saving, 11 minutes or something. But then the rest of the run is just absolute trash, and it ends up being, not even a PB, despite saving 11 minutes. It happens, and it's kind of out of your control most of the time. But at the same time, there's still a lot of things that I can do to make this better,
For sure.
Fresh.
Got another question here from Suchira.
Eating a
and
cracker
Suchira-
real quick, but by all means.
Is the narrator the boy when he's older retelling the story?
Yes,
Ah.
the narrator is the boy as an adult. They kind of expect you to sort of guess that, so it's not too much of a spoiler to say so. Some people realize it, as early as like the first room, and some people wait until the end of the game to realize. So, kind of clear that at least we know the outcome of the boy, right?
Another question from Simon Agner. How has your emotional connection with Trico changed as you've been running this game over and over?
First, that it would spoil it, because the emotional impact is lessened every time you see what happens. But it has given me a better appreciation for Trico and how amazing his AI is. Like he regularly does things and figures things out on his own that I cannot comprehend programming an AI to be like that. And he really needs to receive credit for how good he is. He's not perfect, but he's fantastic, and he's my little buddy. Well, my
Aw.
big buddy.
Got another question from chat here as well. Is there any specific tech that is a major time saver for people to learn if they were curious about running this game? And if I had to guess,
You know it.
it's got to be White Tower skip, right? Because that's like you said 5 to 6 minute save.
Yep. White Tower skip is very challenging. White Tower skip is essentially the difference between second place and first place. So if you're just looking to get into the game speedrunning, like just to start, you can save White Tower. Like don't worry about it at the beginning. Or realistically, focus more on learning how to control Trico.
That seems
Because
like the
there
wisest
is
course of action.
make that much of a difference, like which way you're facing when you tell Trico to do something, or whether you tell him to go forward or to jump forward, since he'll do the same thing no matter which of those you tell him to do. But I was shocked. Just for one run, I was like, okay, I'm not going to focus on anything else except for being super optimized just in how I talk to Trico. And I genuinely saved, I believe it was 9 minutes. Boy. Well, sorry about that. We're going to have to go back. That happens sometimes. He just doesn't want to acknowledge we have to grab that.
Well, while you rerun that little bit, Zygo89 asks, have you ever tried to speedrun Shadow of the Colossus or Ico?
So, do I want to speedrun Shadow? Absolutely. Is it already super competitive? Absolutely. I love Shadow, but originally played Shadow on PlayStation 2, the original version. I played the Jesus out of that game. Like, oh, I played it every day. Think that I could do pretty well, but the PlayStation 3 remaster and even the PlayStation 4 remaster, which is fantastic, they're just not quite the same. I can't perform as well with those, and I'm kind of unwilling to like hook up a PlayStation 2 right now to run Shadow. So yeah, it's on my radar, but
It's like
I think that if I did run it, it would be individual colossi and not like the whole game.
Okay, yeah.
Turn down an opportunity to fight Phalanx. So we're coming up on Cage Puzzle. I say coming up as in about the next 5 minutes. Let me give you a little primer on Cage Puzzle before we get to it. Cage Puzzle ends runs. There's no other way to say it. And some of it is in my control. Some of it is Trico. Trico loves to be helpful, which is great. We appreciate that. However, in this particular instance, him being helpful is detrimental. We're gonna end up, I mean, you'll see, we're gonna end up in a cage, and he needs to help us move. Doing, because he wants to get petted and say that he missed us, he can sort of ruin a really good setup by, you know, moving us around. So cage puzzle, a good cage puzzle is going to save you multiple minutes. A bad cage puzzle obviously is going to take you multiple minutes. So we'll see how this treats us. It's really a matter of practice and prayer to RNGesus.
So these are the salt mines then.
For right now, we're just on a quest to find Trico, since he's been separated from us.
Let's go get that good boy.
That's not our Trico. Usually standing like this. Please don't hurt me. That was a little bit unusual. She's definitely chasing me, and she absolutely could just launch my face. We do have to be careful.
That'd be bad.
Not looking doesn't mean she's not there. If we want to try to one-cycle her, that might have already been a bit too slow because he tripped. We'll see. No, we should be good. We don't one-cycle her, she's gonna stick her head in that hole. She's gonna like claw at us. And then we'll have to kind of juke her back the other way before we can progress. She's actually very aggressive. She's been kind to us.
Easy one cycle every time.
I see somebody ask why the tattoos on the boy. We're not really sure, except that all we know is that every time Trico eats him and barfs him back up, he gets more. So it seems like somehow being in Trico's stomach is what gives him these markings.
That's weird. It's a strange detail.
Yeah.
All right, then maybe we throw over to Tseryl for a little bit here.
Sure.
Thank you. I was trying to get my screen set up. I've just been having issues this whole time. I'm so...
You're doing your best, just like the rest of us. Perhaps a frog fact while we wait, then. Let's see. Here's a frog fact for everyone. The striped rocket frog can jump more than 2 meters, which is 50 times its body length.
Oh, jeez.
Now, we've seen Trico make some pretty impressive jumps this whole stream here.
Trico is part frog, confirmed.
That is the best thing. That needs to be clipped right now, Twitch.
I can't believe that Trico is a frog this entire time. All right, Tseryl, what do you got for us?
Thank you for waiting. All right, so, or rather, thank you for delaying on my behalf. We've got we've got 2 Final Fantasy Tactics incentives that we want to meet. The first actually doesn't have any bids at all yet, folks. It's you can choose the name for the main character for the Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced 2 run. So get your choices in for that. And then we also have a bonus incentive. So if it's met, Zoe Vermillion is going to perform an any % run of Final Fantasy 3 on the NES. And that will be immediately after the Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced 2 run. So if those are things that you're interested in, I love tactics games, y'all. Like, I cannot explain to you. So if you're interested in those things, like I'm interested in those things, please consider donating for the cause.
Thank you, Tseryl.
Yeah, let's get some donations for those.
Yeah, let's get some donations in. So this is cage puzzle / cage skip. How are we going to skip out of this cage?
Well, first of all, I appreciate your patience because I'm sure you all saw that we just stood in a cage for a while and did nothing. The narrator wanted us to feel like we had waited for an eternity so that when he said it, we believed it. So we just had to kind of sit there and wait. We need to get Trico here to help. I am going to try to get a reset to work here. It's a little finicky, but since the female Trico lives here, when our Trico comes in, he's going to want to sniff around and, investigate. So I'm going to try to reset him to prevent him from doing that. Like I said, it's a bit of a finicky reset. The game doesn't always want to acknowledge that you've gotten the checkpoint, so we'll see how that goes. But we're going to need Trico to push us in this cage. Which is... Except that once he pushes us, he needs to leave us alone.
Okay, so we don't want him to be too helpful, but we do want him to be helpful.
Yeah. I want him to be helpful. I'm gonna wait for him to vocalize here, just to make sure that we've gotten this checkpoint. Okay. That should be good. Now, I need to be in a very specific spot, and I need Trico's feet to not please get in the way. Well, that's all right. We'll make do. Then some alternatives. So first thing he's gonna do is he's gonna ask to be petted, which is adorable, but it also can move the cage. And Trico, I'd really, buddy, rather you didn't do that. No touchies, dude. Dude, put your hands down. Buddy. Specific spot. Can you help me? You got it. I need to go that way, please. So when he pushes me, I need him to push me up, not sideways. Which can pose a problem.
Looks like it is being a little bit troublesome.
Okay. Trico, don't bother me, dude. This is like the best setup we've had in like 60 years. Just no. Trico. No, don't do it. Trico, don't push me, buddy.
Oh boy. I'm like waiting for the point that like your commentary syncs
Oh,
up
it was
with the
amazing.
feed.
That was like the best cage puzzle we could have asked for. What's much more common is that Trico will kind of, you know, tap me with his nose because he's just trying to be helpful. And he'll shove me straight into a corner. And then he'll stand directly behind me, so I can't go forward, he can't push me forward, and I can't go backwards because then I'll just roll into him. So that was amazing. That is wonderful to see that at a marathon of all things.
I'm damn near perfect cage skip.
Yeah, basically. We've still got one, like, sub-cage puzzle left to do. Should be a bit simpler. Because obviously we're not out of the cage yet.
Very nice.
On the first try, because right now Trico isn't here to interfere. I hate to say that, but... That is actually a fairly decent setup. Stay out of the way. The camera's also going to juke me a little bit here. But we'll try
Out of
to...
curiosity here. If White Tower skip pans out, how are your splits looking?
They are... it's possible we could get pretty close... Boy, stop. It's possible we could get pretty close to second place. Currently. If White Tower pans out. And if we get some pretty good luck with some of the more complicated stuff at the end of the run.
Fingers crossed for you. I maybe should pull up a reference time then.
I mean, at the current pace, even if we save no further time, what's my estimate? 3:55? We're gonna finish at least 15 minutes early.
Wow.
Hi, buddy. This is one of my favorite skips in the game. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know. I think it's because it's so cheeky that I like it a lot. I'm just gonna kind of, boop, bye-bye. Because walk this barrel all the way around here and get up here and distract him and get him away from you. Or you can just walk right past his face and say, yeah, sorry, bye. And the reason we're getting this barrel, of course, is because Trico's a pouty little baby and he wants food again.
All right, so I'm just looking at a reference here for everyone, and so the times that we have for reference. First place in this game is 3 hours and 18 minutes.
It's
Second
late
place-
3:18, right?
No,
3:18,
early
40?
3:18.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Oh, Sasha did a really good job.
3 hours, 18 minutes, 2 seconds, to be specific. Second
Wow.
is held by Karekusa, and their
28,
time is 3:28:03. Yep.
Yeah.
And then third place is you,
Yes.
with the currently recorded time of 3 hours, 47 minutes, 50 seconds. But you mentioned that you've been doing a lot better in some offline,
Yeah.
not submitted runs.
Yeah, my current time is actually 3:28:40.
3:28:40, so you would be 30 seconds off of the second place time then.
Yes. And the only reason that we didn't take second easily is because, again, remember that 3.5 minute time loss where Trico just stared at the floor and got angry? That happened during that run.
Oh. So we could potentially see a second place run here. It's not out of the question.
It's not out of the question. No, certainly not. I mean, we'll see how White Tower cheats us. I mean, the good news is, too, if Trico does really well, if he's very smart for the rest of the run, you don't actually need White Tower skip to take sub 330.
Yeah, you mentioned
You do definitely need it for first, but...
You mentioned that the second place run actually doesn't use the White Tower skip right now?
Right. Satsu right now is the only one who does White Tower, probably because it's so risky.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 2.5 hours in, and you could just potentially kill your run, you know? Very likely that you will kill your run if you stand there and try to attempt it. Like, for a while. Trico, stay focused, buddy. You can do it. He wants to sniff again, and I'm trying to break him of that so that he doesn't spend time just smelling the ground.
Come on, bud.
I'm so scared. Whenever he jumps through this hole. Because I'm gonna get like bonked on the rocks and I'm gonna get knocked down and then he's not gonna be able to find me. That's never happened before. How would I know that? You get off, Trico? Thank you. Having a dedicated, you know, grab button is that a lot of times, right, like that, I try to get off of Trico and the boy decides to just keep grabbing and so I can't quite hop off. There's our White Tower again, peeking over around the corner. Still quite a fair distance from the skip. Even though it looks like the White Tower is right there, we've got some caves and stuff to go through.
Always these dang caves getting in the way.
In answer to chat, yes, that's exactly right. You only need White Tower skip to pay off once in a very good run in order for you to save massive time on whether you're willing to potentially kill an otherwise really good run or whether you'd rather run it through the end for just a pretty decent, you know, time. Do you want the god time or do you just want the really good time?
Sometimes you gotta make that call and you just want the really good time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take that.
Obviously, you know, for us, for marathon safety. Little boy. We're gonna try White Tower skip a couple times, and if it doesn't pan out, you know, we're not gonna stand and spend 20 minutes trying to get it.
We'll explain a little bit more when we get there.
Sure. The good thing about White Tower skip is it doesn't break the game if you don't get it, you know? Like, you can just complete it the way you're expected to, and then you're on your way. It's not this glitch where, oh no, I didn't get it, I can't progress. So we're going to be coming up, sorry, on
no, go ahead.
Another one of these cages. We saw one before. Whenever Trico goes into them, it kind of turns him crazy. Some people think it's because it's kind of resonating with his horns. And making him forget who we are. So we're gonna, as weird as it sounds, we're gonna set ourselves up to be eaten as quickly as possible.
Fantastic. This game has got some just absolutely gorgeous art and environments. It's really great.
I think that the people who make these Team Eco games, oh, I actually got caught. Just have a fascination with these old, dilapidated looking structures.
I don't know about you, but I approve of said fascination because it gives me such pretty stuff to look at. Oh no, here he goes with the laser eyes again.
See, but the laser eyes would be so good at like ridding the house of unwanted insects, you know.
Unfortunately, we don't get to watch that cutscene. What we find out is that Trico sort of flew his way into our village and stuck his head through my window and kidnapped me by swallowing me, of course. And then on the way back to the place that we are now, he got struck by lightning, and it knocked him out of the sky and broke his horns, ripped off the end of his tail. And then these armored soldier guards found him and chained him up to the ground. And that's where we found him when we started the game.
Ah, so it does actually explain how you got there.
Don't know why Trico wanted to bring me here.
I almost would have thought it would have been in media res and just left like that.
And I think that he's eating me in these cages because that seems to be the Trico's whole point, is that they eat people. Because that's why he came to my village, was to come and eat me and bring me back here. So it seems like whenever he's under the control of whatever these glowy blue things are, he wants to eat people. And the narrator mentions at some point that these Tricos are called man-eaters.
Huh. Do I have a moment to remind chat about what we are doing here?
For sure, this is a very long cutscene.
All right. Well, hey chat, we are here raising money for the Malala Fund, which is helping to bring education to young women around the world. So if you want to support this awesome cause, throw in a donation. I'll just use the /donate thing in chat there for you. Should appear. It's also at gamesdonequick.com/donate. You can go there, send your contributions into the Malala Fund. 100% of the donations are going towards them. You can also support them by purchasing shirts from the Yeti. The Yeti has their Frame Fatales collection up, including a long sleeve shirt that I really like. And we want to support that. We want to provide support in that way. The Yeti has they're going to provide $5 for every shirt sold. So get in there and get something for your cause as well. Let's see. I think that's about it. Yeah. There's some cool donation incentives going on that you can contribute to while donating, including some stuff for Final Fantasy Tactics A2.
Here we've got Trico, he woke up from being, mind controlled by this cage and realized that he had actually, really hurt us. And so he's trying to figure out how to make us better.
Got a couple questions for you if we have a good moment for them.
Sure thing.
All right. This one comes from Choo Choo Chewy. Are there any quirky running categories for this game?
There are actually not. Any percent is the only category. Again, I think it's because, there's not actually much in the way of glitches. So aside from any percent, there's not too much you can really do. I'm trying to figure out a way to... I think if I can just test a few more things, I might be able to figure out some out-of-bounds tricks, and then we might be able to branch out some new categories.
Ooh. And this question comes from Dubsy42. So how many runs did it take you to make you feel confident that you could speedrun this game?
I would say... when I first started speedrunning this game, I was getting times about 4 hours, 15 minutes or so. Putting me face down in a puddle of water while I'm unconscious. I would say that when my times got to the point that I was consistently getting under 4 hours, or even under 3 hours 55, I felt like it was a speed run, and not just like a sort of quicker than average casual playthrough. And now obviously those times have improved to, sub 3:30. There's actually a very small margin between just a very fast casual player and an actual speedrunner of this game.
Yeah, because you mentioned that there's an achievement for finishing this game in 5 hours, was it?
Yeah, 5 hours. Well, I mean, technically, it's a little bit more generous than that because the game doesn't count, any cutscenes, even like the one that we just got where Trico is moving me around. The game doesn't count any of that, and obviously our real-time timers do. So it's a little bit more forgiving in the sense of saying, you need to finish it in under 5 hours, but if the game expects you to be able to do that as a trophy, you're not too far off of speedrunning already.
Speaking of trophies as well, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to doing your when it comes to streaming, you do challenge runs. You don't. You said you don't do a ton of achievement hunting, right?
Not particularly. I usually do that just as part of casual play, which I do with my husband just in our free time.
Mm-hmm. What sort of challenge runs do you normally try to do?
I like things that... describing it. Things where I'm the one in control of getting better. So... doing challenge runs in games like, let's say, Borderlands, for example, doing OP levels, not so much for me because that has to do with loot drops and things like that. But Dark Souls, for example, I was just recently doing Armor of Thorns only. So the only way that I could hurt any enemy was by rolling into them with the Armor of Thorns, which does 10 damage maybe. And I'm trying to beat the final DLC boss that way. And that's a blast, of course. Or Pantheon of Hallownest in Hollow Knight. Obviously, that's quite a challenge for a lot of people, me included.
Yeah, I wouldn't have the patience to do Armor of Thorns. That would be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Is it 54, 52 something bosses in the Pantheon of Hallownest? And it's just a boss rush, and if you die, you start over, and the hardest bosses are at the end. I've beaten
That's
it once.
Brutal. I couldn't imagine doing that. So again, major props to you.
Thanks. I'm into the games to get better and have fun while doing it, so. We are actually going to be coming up on White Tower Skip here. Trico's going to stick his head through here. This little cutscene, which is for some reason not triggering. There we go.
I have my notes ready on White Tower skip. This is the only part of the run I had actually seen before. All of this is like, I'm just watching this happen as it happens, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. This game is gorgeous, and Trico is adorable.
Stuck underneath all of this debris, he was, as you might have expected, far too big to try to fit into that tiny little tunnel, so he caused it to collapse. He's okay, thankfully. We just kind of need to get the boy in a situation where he needs Trico's help in order to wake Trico up. The bridge where the White Tower skip will happen, and there's the White Tower. So first we have to take care of this armor. Trico is often pacifist during this fight, so I usually have to help him quite a lot. Which brings up the point that I can rip the heads off of the armor as long as they're sitting on the ground. So
That's helpful.
if for some reason Trico, doesn't kill a suit of armor, I can help. Oh, that guy just got sent flying. Trico, he's dead. Please don't knock me off. He's dead, buddy. Everybody's
Careful,
dead.
Trico.
You did it. I've been yeeted out of a window one too many times this run. So we're gonna head on over to White Tower. The skip happens over by where those two eyeballs are. That's another situation, obviously, where Trico is not going to want to progress while those are there. And that is what necessitates the skip. I will do my very best to show this off to you guys, but naturally it is the hardest thing in the run.
Yep, this is a little bit unpredictable, and there's not much that we can do if it doesn't. And what Sable will do in that case is we'll just go around the intended way. It'll take about 5 minutes, but if we can get it, it's going to mean that we are on pace to get a second place run.
Do we have time for a couple quick donations?
I think we got time for one or two.
Yeah, it's going to be up to you.
Great. I'll just do one here. Let's see. We have Ola63 donates $10 and says, "Good luck, have fun, pet the dog."
Ow. Right on the middle of the head. Charm, right, Trico?
We see some
He's moving
less
just
RNG.
fast enough that we can't, like... Oh, boy. Alright, here we go.
Alright, so Trico is going to stop here, and this is White Tower skip. So a little bit of history on this skip here, because Sable needs to focus. Satsu, who is the current world record holder, found the White Tower skip originally, but their original execution is kind of risky, and it's inconsistent at best. White Tower skip is risky enough that you can still get second place on the leaderboards without getting it, so it's worth it if you can get it, and it's kind of risky if you don't. You'll lose a little bit of time. It happens. So what Sable is going to be doing here is Sable's going to be trying to get up onto these triangular support beams. Satsu's method used a couple of support beams that you could find earlier, and Sable uses a much more consistent version of this where she can climb up onto these supports a little later onto the bridge. It means that if she falls, there's a little bit more of a run up, but overall, the trick has about a 1 in 7 consistency, as opposed to the original execution's 1 in 35. So it's a lot more consistent if we do it this way. So we're going to climb up here onto this triangular support beam. We're going to try and get up onto that beam just above the boy's head to the left there. And when we get up there, we can jump up onto the drawbridge and then knock the eyeball thingies off. So this method as well, Sable's method was discovered earlier this month.
That was so close.
You've got this.
Time to continue to attempt this for a while because it's such a big time save that we'll still end up ahead. But I won't keep you guys here, forever.
Yeah, we don't want to spend too long.
Oh, we got it.
Folks, we got him. Very nice work, Sable.
Thank you. Fourth try,
That's a huge... Yeah, that's a huge time save. That's like 5 minutes time save. And we spent, what, 1 doing it?
Yeah, something like that.
It's a great job.
Thank you. Whew. Glad that's over.
Now it's just all high-level execution for the rest of the run, eh?
Yeah, basically. Had we not gotten that, this entire white tower we would have had to sort of shimmy around. So that we could end up on top on this bridge. And naturally the way we did it was much quicker.
Yep. So, if all continues to go well for the remainder of the run, we'll be finishing more than 15 minutes ahead of estimate, you said, right?
Oh, easily.
Easily. So, we're probably seeing a second place run here, folks.
That is so exciting.
It's not world record, but you know what? It's close. That's all it needs to be, really.
As the game goes on, the puzzles get harder. The potential for time loss gets higher, but the potential for time save also gets higher on executing any of those things well. So,
but because
still a lot could happen.
It's because it's supposed to be execution focused. You can get more consistent at this part where something like White Tower Skip is challenging, something like Trico's AI behavior is tricky to manipulate, and so, this part, you can save a little bit more time. Oh, Trico did a glide! Oh my goodness!
Is that the first time that we've seen Trico's wings fully outstretched?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Continue to grow, it seems like his wings are starting to heal up a bit too.
Good job, Trico. I'm so proud of you.
Here, if we can, it's gonna be another one of those skips where the game might think that we've fallen far enough to die, but it's worth it to try. We're gonna try to land here on Trico's head, and we did. That is fantastic, but it's not over because, yep, I was trying so hard not to do that. When the boy runs or collides with a wall, it's very odd. The game, pushes him away from it. He doesn't just run into it, he bounces off of it. Which is why when I ran into that wall, I bounced off and went falling to my death. But thankfully, as you can see, we did actually just graze the platform before we died, so we were able to checkpoint despite dying.
That's a relief, at least. It's not a huge time loss.
No, not really. It's actually super common to die there, so it's almost like built in.
Seeing all of this, like, I'm seeing this on a pretty heavily compressed video feed, and such is the nature of, you know, doing remote streams. But seeing this on just this feed is making me want to go out and actually play this game for real, because it is gorgeous even when it's being shredded by a video encoder.
When we get to what is, you know, commonly acknowledged as the final piece of the game, when the sky turns colors, the lighting just changes so much for the better.
I'm so excited.
So now we know that Trico can fly, and we're gonna try to prompt that here by confusing him a little bit to hopefully make him go just a smidge faster.
Can I just say shout out to the mods in chat? Y'all the best. And shout out to Tech Crew as well. Everyone behind the scenes doing a great job keeping this stream going. Y'all the best.
And what I would argue is the best part of the game, that's pretty subjective. It's definitely my favorite part. It's the part that I look forward to playing the most, and I'm very happy that it happens where it does. Thank you, camera. What am I looking at? Because it's kind of a nice reward for getting through the White Tower. A part that you really like afterward.
Look at that funky chicken dog. Jump!
So there's armor down here, and he's going to be taking care of that while I juke that guy and go take care of all this stuff that technically comes later.
Tseryl, you had something to say there?
That's what I was meaning to ask, since you have experience with chickens, and I think Sable has a dog. Like, how much of a dog chicken is this?
You know what? I've got to say, chickens are really good at jumping. They're really, really good at escaping from places where they should not be able to. I've definitely seen, like, they jumped out over the fence of our backyard a couple times, at least. And definitely got out of their box when they were very, very young, quite a bit. So, you know, we've had our fair share of chicken jumping incidents.
I'm certainly going to say that Trico is smarter than my dog.
Yeah. Chickens are very smart and dastardly.
We got a very intense section here with a lot of
Goodness.
very minute exploits and skips, so I'm gonna probably be a little bit more quiet than normal as I focus on hitting these.
It's the return of the anime rival in a hood. Right? Oh, it's armor. Never mind. Okay.
Really important here that I get underneath these tricos in a smooth way. Oh, Trico, let me down. Trico, oh, buddy. Where am I? I don't know. Just don't be on top of Trico, please.
Whoa!
Super important that I'm not on Trico when he takes that tumble for the sake of the speed run.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, come on. You can do it, little boy. There you go. You're supposed to be on Trico for the casual playthrough, but not for this.
So I'm seeing the boy do
Super
a funky
common
little
to
dance.
die here. We'll see. I need to get through this gap as soon as it opens, and I need to hold on to Trico before the cutscene starts. It looks like we're good to go. Stopped by now.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, the camera was going nuts, for those who asked in chat, because I was trying to break the camera. I was throwing it all over the place. Otherwise, the camera is fixed in position. The Trico has a lot of spears in him, which is probably going to prompt the boy to say, "Hold on, Trico, I'll pull it out." If we hear that, we are not going to be able to progress until we pull these spears out. It will stop the cutscene from triggering until we get them.
Trico is in some bad shape here. Oh no.
Yeah, Trico's not doing good. Oh, that was very close. Trying to get that train before the cutscene triggers. I've never gotten it, but I believe that it's technically possible.
Oh wait, he spit out your shield?
Yeah, when he landed down here, we petted his face, and he kind of didn't feel very good about the situation he's in and barfed up my shield. The very first time we were in a cage, he kept the shield in his belly. Must have ripped it off my arm. So we've got it back for the rest of the game now.
Huh.
Yeah, so there's Hold On Trico, I'll pull it out. I am actually going to do that immediately instead of feeding Trico barrels, because if for some reason, this has totally happened before and it is a run killer, if for some reason the boy does not think that he has pulled out enough spears, but there are no more spears to pull out, we'll have to reset this checkpoint. I only see 2 spears. Let me know if you see more. That one on the ground isn't in him, so we don't need to worry about that. Hopefully it was just those 2. Because this is a very long section to have to redo.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, it's barrel time.
Barrels always make the chicken dog feel better. Right, buddy?
Munch.
Now, before I forget, there's going to be some enemies coming up that I can take care of right now, so that we don't have to take care of them later. They are right here.
It's good to take care of things now
Bye.
so you don't have to take care of them later. I say as I procrastinate.
Ouch. Pretty sure he's dead. He just got hit in the head by a boulder. But this is the Boy of Steel, remember? Nothing kills him. He can get hit in the head with a giant piece of concrete, and he's like, oh, I'll just walk it off. But he falls like 10 feet, and he's like, oh, my leg's broken, I'm done for.
It's selective complaining.
Mm-hmm. He's just very fond of his ankles in particular. if you're looking for the trophy on how to stack 2 barrels on top of each other and walk around with them, this is the best place to do that. Fun fact. Now, as long as we land on Trico, we won't break our leg. Sorry,
and we
buddy,
like
I'm sure
not
that felt
breaking our
good.
legs.
Just like fall from 100 feet onto Trico's exposed ribs.
It's perfect. It's perfectly fine. Trico's doing fine.
Right, so if we were able to get all of those spears out, as soon as he eats this barrel, it'll kind of pan away from him, and we'll know that it worked. Hopefully, as soon as he eats this, the camera will change. Yep, fantastic. So here's the sky change. This indicates that we're in the last act of the game. The end. Within the next 30 minutes, probably. It's always hard to tell.
I love me a nice clean 3-act structure. As a reminder for those who are maybe just joining us, we are on pace right now for the second best run of this game.
That is huge. Like, that is so cool. Sable, how big is the speedrunning community for The Last Guard?
It's much smaller than, you know, say things like Spyro, and certainly much smaller than, you know, little boy. Just, can you give the command? Than, you know, gigantic games like, you know, Resident Evil 4 or something. But the people who run it are, like, really passionate about it, you know? There aren't very many, like, super casual runners of it.
Yeah, I see 6 times listed on SRC. That, of course, may not be every run out there, but it's certainly the ones that are on the leaderboard at the moment.
In particular, it seems like there's a much bigger community of, like, for lack of a better way to describe it, lore testers. You know, people who just explore the nooks and crannies of the game for the story they can find. And those people are obviously super important in finding new skips and new strategies, telling us areas that we didn't realize we could go to.
Shout out to routers in the speedrun community. If you're the ones poking around at the corners of games and finding and developing the routes for speedruns, thank you. Your services do not go unappreciated.
Even if you don't run, you have a huge impact, you know, on the game. Dropped down before I hit that other Trico with a minecart in the head. Little things like that, you know, even playing through normally, you might not realize that one platform is directly underneath the other. Things like that. And the routers are there to find those things. You'll also notice that Trico now shoots lightning balls instead of just lightning bolts.
Oh my.
His tail, which was ripped off when he got struck by lightning, is now fully healed, so I think that's why.
Great job, buddy. Is it just me, or is he getting bigger, too?
Bigger, yeah?
Yeah?
I need you to face me, buddy. Turn around. Turn. Okay, we're gonna be stuck here for a second.
Do we have time for a frog fact then?
Oh, absolutely. Because he's being a
Okay,
little bit
let
of a
me
booger.
find a frog fact for you. All right, here we go.
I need you to turn.
The northern cricket frog can skitter across the surface of a pond with short, rapid jumps, meaning like it can effectively walk on water. Let's see here.
Rico, get your butt over here.
Would you like another frog fact?
I would love another frog fact as Trico figures out what to do with his life.
Frogs with warts or skin folds tend to be on ground-dwelling frog, since it helps provide them with more effective camouflage.
Yeah, I guess so. They look like little rocks or
Yeah,
dirt
so
or
they'll
something.
like they have a little texture to them, like the dirt that they'd be around. Let's see.
So we're in another one of these cages that take control of Trico when he hops into them. This will be the final cage of the game.
I've just got to take another quick break, and I'll be right back.
Sure thing. Trico is gonna actually stand up to this cage. Control. So it seems he can no longer really be controlled by the same, sound waves or whatever that look like they control the other Trico. Hey, buddy, can we get some early mirrors? Are you feeling good? We're not feeling very good about that one, but that's actually pretty common. Boy, I don't want to pet Trico right now, even though he's adorable. Go. I kind of need to see, please. Thank you. Every time that he shoots, he gets just a little bit closer, and it's spooking me right out. Are you shooting? Or are we just standing here and looking at the sunset? Sunrise, I guess. There we go. Go. I need you to shoot, buddy. This one's rotating. You can do it, my dude.
Oh, those glass shatter effects are very satisfying.
Awesome. Okay. What? Trico! You left without me. Oh, God.
Am I allowed to,
Anytime
like,
he's ever-
I think I've just noticed something. Like, you seem to have the same tone of voice when you're communicating with Trico as you would when you're, like, talking with your pets, and that's adorable.
Yeah, he really is, like... I do kind of view him as, like, a pet.
He's
You
a
know?
weird, mischievous pet.
And it's easy to view him that way because, like I've said before, most of the time, it's not quite, surprisingly, been the case so much in this run, but most of the time, the trouble comes from the boy, not from Trico. So, it's easy to, talk to Trico and be nice to him when he's not usually the cause of any problems.
Someone in chat says that Trico's like a PS4 Tamagotchi.
Yeah, you feed him, you play with him, take him for walkies.
Call him a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he changes his appearance based on how well you take care of him.
Oh my god.
Well, that's kind of true, because the only way you can get that spray paint can, right, is to... Whoa, Trico! Bye!
Oh my goodness. Look at that lighting.
Where on earth am I?
Oh,
I love it when things like that happen.
absolutely yeeted.
He saw me jumping through the air and he was like, I think no.
What if you do not?
Did you think maybe I didn't want to do that? Did you ever consider that?
Hey, I think I know what's good for you, and it's not this. Back into the hole.
So obviously this mirror would have already been gone if Trico hadn't just slapped me into the endless abyss.
Little zappy zappy magic.
Thankfully it did checkpoint all the other mirrors, or, you know, eyeballs. So...
The eyeball
those.
things. Remember? We decided
Yeah,
on
the
this new
eyeball
terminology.
I've still got one more that I would like to take out. The early mirror that Trico wouldn't let me get before. Trico's probably gonna run here. We don't really want him to do that. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but we actually do want him to do this walk that he's doing. Animation is slower than his walk animation.
Do we have time for a couple questions from chat? If chat
Sure
can
thing.
get some in. All right. So chat, we're taking questions about this game, about this run. If you want to ask them, go right ahead, and I will pass them on to Sable.
Got in this section, we're going to be climbing these two towers vertically, and we're going to be hopping back and forth between them. So it's a lot of platforming. This is definitely a good time if you guys have any questions.
Cool. While we wait for chat to catch up here, Tseryl, do you have any donations for us?
As a matter of fact, I do, and I'm ready to read them.
Perfect.
I know, right? I've only been waiting 3 hours to be on top of my game. The Scarlet Devil donates $5 and comments with a heart. I'm assuming that's a heart for Trico and the love. Twisted Chi 156 donates $10. No comment, but the love is just as real. Thank you both so much for your support.
Can I just say that every dollar counts as well? Like, if you've been like weighing up chipping in $5 and you're like, oh, $5 isn't really anything. Consider that $5 is being combined with a lot of other people donating $5, and you get it adding up pretty quickly. So like every $5 does help. It does make a difference. And the charity that we're supporting here, the Malala Fund, is a great cause helping to get education to young women around the world. And obviously, this is a great cause to support. So get your donations in. $5 donations, $10 donations, $20 donations, $100 donations. It doesn't matter. Every dollar counts. Do you have any more donations? Speaking of.
I've got a Final Fantasy incentive. It looks like the bid wars are on for the names since the last time that I announced that. And I think Seahonk or Chonk, I can't quite tell what it is, but that's in the lead right now, so.
All right. So chat's got a few questions if you are ready for those.
Definitely
Anything you
ready.
want to
We're still
explain,
gonna be
or
for quite a while here. This is just
okay.
a very tight platforming section to test your ability to control Trico closely.
Okay. All right. So, question for Proxfell from Proxfell, who asks just for a quick re-summary of the game. What is this game about?
Sure. Well, obviously we've got this giant chicken dog. We woke up in a room with him, and we don't really know why we're there. He wants to go to this big white tower, which I think we should be able... There it is. He wants to go there, and we don't know anywhere else to go since we're kind of trapped here and don't know why we're here, so we figure, yeah, we'll go with the giant chicken dog bird to the white tower that he wants to go to, because maybe if we climb it, we can get out. So the game is focused around trying to get out of this valley by cooperating with Trico.
I have a great question here from Zakai94 that just came in, and I have to ask it right away. What kind of dog do you have?
He's a Cheagle, which in other words is a Beagle Chihuahua.
Aww.
He is
Very
basically a
small.
tiny beagle with a curly tail.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I love it.
And he's awake.
This question comes from Bushikaje, and they ask, probably already asked, but what is your favorite game to run?
Oh, that's so tough. I run a lot of games. I think that my favorite game to run in general is probably The Last Guardian, but I think my favorite run to run is Spyro 80 Dragons, glitched Spyro 80 Dragons, which I actually ran earlier in this marathon.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy and like funky to look at because you're glitching things all the time. It's really fun. I tend to really like meme categories more than I like, you know, super serious, like straight any % categories.
Mm-hmm.
But
All right.
as a whole, I don't think you can really beat The Last Guardian for me.
Question about The Last Guardian here from Emerald Alley, and they ask, were you following along with the long and tortured development history that this game had, or did you find out about it more when it came out?
I heard about it very briefly when it was like first announced and people were like, oh, you know, this will come out next year or whatever. And I was like, oh, that seems like such a cool game. And then I completely forgot about it because it never came out. And I only heard about it again. My husband was like, hey, did you hear that this thing finally came out? And I was like, oh yeah, that was supposed to happen. And so then we got it for Christmas that year. So that whole like middle part, no, I was not present for that at all.
Alright, that's it for questions by the looks of it.
Sure. Well, we're just going to be getting into some of the actual things we are accomplishing here on these towers, because I know we've just been kind of hopping around. But the white tower, right, that's kind of what Trico's looking at. It's behind this other tower, so it's kind of hard to see, but Trico is going to try to use his wings to get us there. Problem is he needs a little bit of a runway to get going. So, little boy, what are you doing? So we're going to be up here trying to put a bridge together for him so he can have a running start.
Wait, so I have a Spyro and Last Guardian question. Could Trico
Sure.
ever be considered a dragon?
It cut out for me, but I'm assuming you said, could Trico be considered a dragon?
Yes.
I mean, dragons can have feathers, right? But he doesn't have teeth. Is that disqualifying for a dragon?
I don't think that's disqualifying. I think disqualifying is maybe a lack of elemental breath.
Yeah, well, he has lightning from his tail, though.
That's true, but that's closer to like a chimera. If we're talking like being strict about our fantasy creature definition.
I mean, he has horns. would say... Well, okay, so here's probably what it is, right? He has feathers, but he has, like, skin. Like, he's probably a mammal, right? Not a reptile.
Huh.
So maybe no dragon because no reptile? Is that how that works?
Maybe?
That you care about me, buddy, but your face is just all up in my business. As we come up to this lever here, I'm gonna try, we'll see what Trico decides, to skip going down this tower by just falling out of this window and landing on Trico. Trico needs to either walk out to meet me or already be under there though, or else I'm just gonna fall to my death. Or I'm not going to fall at all. Oh, Trico, catch me! Thank you.
Apparently the Team Ico wiki just lists Trico's species as Trico.
Yes.
Shout out to Mike the Magician for that quick tip.
At the very beginning of the game, the very first cutscene that we skipped, like a hierarchy of animals with their Latin names and everything. And at the very end, after we pass through like Phoenix and Griffin and stuff, is Trico, like by himself. This entire speedrun with no audio, like game audio. So if you guys hear music, that means we've done this right.
How have you been doing this with no audio? Like, I guess there's no real audio cues to rely on besides that one, eh?
It just kind of comes as force of habit. I usually stream without game audio. There's that frame skip that I talked about earlier. Audio does really help as far as like even being able to tell if Trico's like getting his tail ready to shoot lightning. But it's just kind of habit at this point to not run with audio.
Any particular reason why, if you don't mind my asking?
Because when I first learned how to stream, I didn't know how to set it up so that I could hear the audio and the stream could hear the audio without, without creating feedback.
Right.
Trico, you're kind of in the way, my dude. I take that back. You are more than kind of in the way. So, here at the end of the game is what is going to determine whether we take second place. With the armor, are very, very reliant on Trico. I can encourage Trico to fight well, but if he's pacifist, if he knocks a bunch of people to the ground without killing them, or like he's doing now, if he doesn't shoot his tail, we could stand to lose a lot of time. So it really does come down to the wire with these runs, as far as whether you'll PB.
You got this. Do you need to take out all of this armor to proceed?
Yes. I have worked so hard to try to skip this fight. But oddly enough, the game will actually trigger an invisible wall in an area that you're not supposed to be in. But unfortunately, that's like where we as speedrunners want to go.
Of course.
If you try to skip this fight. I've been trying so hard to find a way around it. But for right now, it doesn't look like there is one.
What are rules? Where we're going, we don't need rules.
We got one more soldier for Trico to take care of, and once it realizes that he's dead, there's going to be a guy with a mirror that comes out of this door. We are going to stop him by surprising him as soon as the door opens. And he's going to go, oh geez, there's a little kid. And he's going to drop his mirror, and he's not going to bring it out with him. Which is exactly what we need to have happen so that Trico doesn't get distracted by this mirror. First, Trico has to take care of that soldier. And we're going to actually be using that same trick again later to get a couple more guys to leave their mirrors behind inside the doors.
Okay. That's a neat, minuscule little exploit.
And you definitely have to keep track of where all these suits of armor are so that you can, you know, you can know when a wave is ending and when the new wave is going to start. As you can see there with me picking up that helmet, it's going to become very apparent why I'm not a fan of having the mirror. Know that guy? No, you did not.
Do we have
Every
time for...
single action in this game is tied to the circle button. Pick up helmets, circle button. Pet Trico, circle button. Use the mirror, circle button. So a lot of times you're gonna see me, you know, pick up a suit of armor, pet Trico, all that when I don't want to. And I did hear your note about donations.
Oh no, I was gonna ask if we had a quick moment for a frog fact, if you don't mind.
We will have a quick moment for a frog fact here in like 30 seconds.
Excellent.
So first, we have one little skip here. This is the place where it would spawn the invisible wall if those soldiers weren't dead. So here's hoping that we get this on the first try, because we basically really only have one try. Otherwise Trico's gonna be in the way. Normally we'd need to climb down his tail here, but we're not gonna do that. And we're just gonna hop down here. Fantastic. Plenty of time for frog facts.
Okay, we got time for a frog fact. All right, here we go. The desert rain frog, which is found in a 10-kilometer range of coastal land between Namibia and South Africa, has a high-pitched cry, which is similar to a squeaky toy. It also doesn't have a tadpole stage, skipping directly from egg to adult. It's a threatened species with that very limited habitat range.
I was just thinking that seemed like a very small space for I was gonna say a lizard. A frog to, oh god, to live in. Don't you take me through this door. Don't take me through this door. Thank you. I did not want to be picked up right in front of a door. So we're waking these guys up because they are standing in front of something that we need to plug our mirror into in order to activate the elevator that Trico is standing on up above. You guys have followed me in here. Are you? Yep, you're tricking me. You little troll. Put me down. Where's your friend? Didn't you come with a friend? It is possible to one-cycle this. That is another thing that makes Satsu's world record run so amazing. You hit the first two armor the way that I did, which, you know, that's fine. It's tight timing, but it's fine.
Yeah.
You then have to go to the third armor, which doesn't have a head. The first two guys, such that Trico can hit them through a doorway with his tail, and when they explode, you have to hope that their heads go and land on that headless armor to wake him up. It's very, very tight timing. And I have pulled it off, but never in a run that was actually, you know, going anywhere.
This one is very much going somewhere, though, thankfully.
Time to Trico's shenanigans and a kind of just average soldier fight, but we're still well in advance of our estimate.
Average is better than bad.
Yeah, for sure. Like, no matter how the rest of this run goes, this has been really fun, and it's just to be able to show White Tower skip at all, and that cage puzzle was just
Especially in a marathon setting where it's kind of risky to do that.
Happy with this no matter what time we end up with.
So we've just actually recently passed here the world record mark, which was Satsu's run at 3 hours, 18 minutes, and 2 seconds. Second place is 3 hours, 28 and 3 seconds, and we think we're on pace to beat that here. So let's get a little cheering going here for Sable, who's done a fantastic run so far.
The main thing that we are going to see is this fight is going to determine what our final time is going to be. This is a huge fight, and it is basically all Trico. Trico needs to do a very good job here to keep us on pace for that 328. So the only thing we can do is just do our best to support him in taking down these suits of armor as fast as he can. Pacifist Trico, where he just knocks them down, is not what we want to see. He did kill that guy though, so. And that one, apparently.
So we're on pace for a good fight then?
Well, this fight is extremely long, so for right now it's fine, but we got a long way to go. Like, easily the longest fight in the game. There are so many suits of armor. We've got mirror guys. Like, I don't think that I am capable of stopping every mirror guy. And once a mirror shows up, that has a high chance of turning Trico pacifist, so we'll see.
Seems to be doing all right so far.
Yeah, grabbing a guy like that is fantastic because it always results in the armor exploding.
Hey chat, can we see a $5 hype train for second place run? Come on. Let's go, let's get some money to the Malala Fund, you guys. We can do
Alright, that guy is not dead, but I have to let Trico fight him because I need to be in position for this guy. You're down. We'll see if we get lucky and the other mirror guy just doesn't spawn. Did you kill that guy, Trico? Doesn't look like a dead guy to me, buddy. I know, you're doing your best.
Man on Fire 387 asks, can you give Trico treats? And yes, you can. You can give Trico treats.
You for sure can.
Trico likes barrels. We used them earlier in the run.
Barrels full of unknown goo. Alright, so we're not going to be able to stop
We
this
don't
guy.
talk about the goo.
Oh, I wasn't able to... There's another guy coming out of there? Okay, never mind. I need to kill this thing, like, ASAP. Cool. Alright, this guy's down, but for some reason I can't grab his head because, as I said, circle button is everything, so it said mirror instead.
I love how they just melt into little puddles. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Trico is doing all right in this fight. He's being a little bit slow, if you can believe it. He's trying to go after the mirror that's inside that door. Over, because if it is, I need you to stay out of the middle, buddy. Thank you. I've definitely lost runs there, where Trico is standing in the middle and he won't let that thing come down. So we did lose time in that fight. It's you know, unavoidable. Trico did his best.
Trico's always doing his best.
Yeah. Like, I can't be angry at him. You know, I couldn't have asked... You can't ask for better than that from an AI, right? You know what I mean? Like, they did such a good job. That even what he just accomplished is amazing.
And even, like, they really nailed the feel of Trico being a realistic animal and being somewhat unpredictable. So, like, it's incredible to still see that.
Basically, in an ideal fight, we would have had Trico never require me to pull heads off of armor. So that's why we lost time. Because those armor would have already been dead, but... It is quite alright. Boy, you got some spears, dude.
Do we have time to read some donations from the hype?
Definitely.
Yes, please.
All right, we have Emerald Alley donating $5, saying $5 you say, smiley face. Then we have Anonymous with a $10 donation saying, great to see a speedrun of this wonderful game. Twisted Chi 4 donates $5 and says, lovely Trico, lovely people, lovely cause, lovely Chigo, and lovely gameplay.
Ooh.
Thank you so much for the donations, folks. It really does make a difference. Again, every dollar makes a difference to the Malala Fund, our charity of choice for this event.
There we go. So here's where it all kind of comes together.
It all comes down to this.
So this thing is the Master of the Valley. He is going to be where time is called, actually. Based on the time that I'm seeing now, we're not going to be able to take second, but it's still gonna be a very nice run. We're gonna finish 20 minutes ahead of estimate. So
Which is incredible stuff.
we're still gonna be just fine. Here, he's obviously, surrounded by these glowy blue things that were the same thing that was controlling Trico in those cages. To the mirror, and that's how we were able to get his gooberness to go away. He is, turns out, basically the antagonist of the game, even though you don't get to see him until the very end. Oh, this fan, and I'm gonna stop it real quick just to give him time to get out. If
Oh my
we
goodness.
are supremely lucky, we will get Blessed Trico Poops here at the top of the tower. If you're looking for the trophy, by the way, of trying to watch Trico poop, the top of the tower here is the best place. It's the most common place. Where did he go? Did he go?
Almost at the end. Do you want to give any quick shout outs?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea, because as soon as this run hits time, I'm gonna have to pause because a very loud cutscene starts at the same time. So obviously shout out to Satsu, the first place holder, for putting in so much time and effort to routing this game. Everything from, finding the White Tower skip to just improving the way that we control Trico, how we give him commands. He's really done a lot for this game. Also, as I mentioned previously, shoutouts to Vanquish, also known as the Eevee Bro, and Parhelion, who are runners of Inside and Limbo. They were the ones who originally taught me how to do fast chain climbing while I was learning Inside All Deaths %, and I was able to transfer that into this game where it also works. So, sort of tangential credit to them for helping in a game they didn't even realize that they were helping with. And of course, thanks to you, commentators, hosts, everybody, for being here and managing everything during the run.
Thank you for running. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here alongside as this run has happened. I have one final question if we have a moment.
Sure.
Is there anything that you would want to tell people who want to speedrun this that you wish you knew before you started running? And that comes from Moogly Written.
Before you speedrun, what you wish you knew. I wish, I guess, that I knew how important it is in this game to not get fixated on benchmarks, I guess. It's not like a normal speedrun where split, you're like, oh, I need to get better in this split in order to improve my time. Sometimes you can't help it, it's Trico. You know, you need to approach this with a different mindset, and you need to be willing to not reset, because a lot can change throughout the entire run. So it's definitely, I wish that I had learned sooner not to view this like other speedruns that are more consistent across the board. Also, if you were wondering what was inside the barrels, there's a suggestion for you. These Tricos are kind of like barfing people up into that thing, and then it's shooting barrels out. So
Gross.
Some people think that maybe it's people inside the barrels. I kind of think that it's whatever byproducts of people the Master of the Valley isn't using.
Quite a bit of cinematic here.
This game is a lot, ouch, of cinematics. Time to watch the final cutscene so that you actually know what happens at the end of the story. Not before we actually find out. But I always do show like the full endgame cutscenes and the after credit scene when I run it, you know, just on my own channel. So if that interests you guys, I will always show those scenes.
Speaking on that, we have a $5 donation from Fox59, and it says, I haven't played this game, but I just want to say if Trico dies, we riot. Also got a donation, $5 donation from Yoko463. Says, go Trico, go. We've got a $5 donation from Anonymous. No comment, but thank you for being part of the hype train and supporting this wonderful run. And this wonderful.
You guys have been awesome. Thanks so much for your constant donations. The chat interaction, just everything has been great. This has been a really fun run. I'm glad that you guys seem to enjoy it, because obviously I love running this game.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun commenting alongside this, and it's been an absolute treat. So, thank you very much.
So when this Trico drops us off, bit of RNG. Well, actually, it's 100% RNG. Where we get thrown. We're hoping to kind of just go straight forward or straight down and not straight up into the air. I like how, because I painted Trico's tail for Malala Fund colors, it changed that Trico's tail's color too.
Oh dang, look at that, it did. Oh, that's neat.
So Trico got to keep the tip of his tail for a little while, but not for very long.
Oh, baby.
So, when we do call time, which will be coming up here in probably a minute or less, I will pause immediately so that the cutscene doesn't play. If for some reason we, need to spend extra time, somebody from staff can let me know and I can let that cutscene play, but otherwise I'm going to just assume that we're trying to wrap it up. That was a fairly quick Trico tail. Called When the Master of the Valley. It's kind of hard to see, so I'll call it. Because that didn't hit, so. Time. Here's the cutscene, and I'll go ahead and pause there. Yep. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for a great run.
It was so fun. I love this run so much, and I appreciate all you guys for hanging around. I know that not everybody is here for watching platforming, but it's just such a fun run, and to be honest, I kind of don't want the world record because then I don't have a excuse to run it anymore. You know what I mean?
But hey, at the very least, this is a new third place time.
For sure.
Coming in
It
3 hours
is.
34:58, beating your previous third place time on speedrun.com of 3 hours 47:50. Extremely well done.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for having me, staff, and it was fun to run both Spyro and The Last Guardian. And thank you guys so much for your donations and for all of your chat engagement. Enjoy the rest of the marathon.
Alrighty.
All right, that wraps up our Last Guardian run. Next up is Final Fantasy Tactics A2. We're just gonna bring the stream down shortly though, before that starts. So it'll be down and then back up right away.